Justin, can you say something?
Pizza.
Sentence, dude.
Can I order a pizza?
There you go. Chad?
No, you can't order a pizza, Justin.
We just had lunch, Justin, so no, you can't.
Welcome back to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. I'm just going to open this Coke Zero here. Coca-Cola, you know.
Delicious, refreshing yes. Coke Zero.
So it keeps me energized, this whole podcast. You know, I just don't know how I would do it without it.
Yeah, and it's zero sugar, so it's good for you, technically.
No calories, too.
Delicious.
Right, Justin?
Yeah, if it's all zeros, that must be a good thing, right?
Duh.
Well, anyway...
Coke, if you're listening.
Yeah, Coke, please reach out. Welcome back to another episode, guys. I'm here with co-host
Stan Morensini
and our guest co-host
Justin Dorris,
and me, obviously, Chad Cook. And we're down one today. Watson's out.
Watson's out. He has to work. He does have a regular daytime job. Unfortunately, this is not paying our bills yet.
No, not yet.
But it will.
But hey, Coca-Cola.
Knock on wood. Coke.
If you jump in.
If you're listening. I am also drinking a delicious Coke Zero.
Oh, yes.
That was the delicious slurp of a Coke Zero. But yeah, hopefully we'll have Watson back on soon. He does have a day job, and he is out today. But we got Justin stepped in. Our good friend Justin Dorris.
Justin.
Yes, thank you very much for stepping in and being a co-host. He's also a fellow film buff, so that helps out a lot. We got a lot of films to talk about that we've seen.
Plenty.
Stuff that's been out. But I think first of all, we should probably finish up with our analysis of Penguin, the TV show. You haven't watched it yet, have you, Justin?
I haven't really watched much TV, but I've been listening to the podcast.
I'm telling you, man.
I know what's happening.
You're missing out by not watching Penguin, dude. It's definitely one of the best television shows out there ever made.
Yes.
Justin, check it out, dude. I'm telling you. Chad, what'd you think of it?
Oh, I thought it was an immaculate way to end the series. It was perfect. I was guessing who was going to be the one that dies because I was like, Sophia and I'm blanking on
Victor.
Sophia and Vic. I was like, I don't know, or his mom, and I was like, all right, are all three gonna die? Or two gonna die? You know, like how it was gonna play out, and like the way they did it, I just thought it was so perfect. Like the tragedy of acquiring power, but also like proving what kind of a monster Penguin really was.
Right.
Like even from the beginning as a little child, I was like, oh shit. And the prediction of, I think Colin Farrell was saying, you're gonna hate the Penguin by the end of the show. And it's like, oh yeah, you were like, he was a real piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, it's great because like you think that when you think you got him figured out, like, oh, he really is a man of the people or whatever. You know, no, he's just using people to get to his own aims. Did you see the ending come? For spoiler alert for those who haven't watched the show yet, Victor does die at the end, and he dies in the most tragic way because he dies at the hands of the Penguin, who just murders him just because he doesn't want to have anybody that close to him.
Yeah, he considers it a weakness, and like right when Vic told him, he's like, I consider you family, and I was like, oh shit,
right there. As soon as Penguin said, "Damn kid," and he put his arm around him,
yeah.
I was like, oh no, he's gonna kill him, dude.
I thought he was just gonna shoot him, but the choking was worse.
It was much worse, dude.
Yeah, it was much worse. And he's like, it's all right, you're a good man.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was expecting him to have some like tears coming out of his eyes as he's killing him. He kind of did tear up a little bit, but I was expecting a little more of like a rainfall from his eyes.
Yeah,
but no, we didn't see it. But yeah, it was pretty fucking brutal, dude. And at the end, he ends up going back to his penthouse. Did you notice those kind of like crumbling, which was pretty amazing? Like he's in like this beautiful penthouse when they pan out. Like the outside of the building is kind of in shambles a little bit.
I think it's probably maybe the best place in Crown Heights,
right?
Or it could be just the next neighborhood over where he's like, this is the best penthouse in the area.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think it was like a metaphor for he's got this empire, but it is kind of on top of this ruin.
Yeah, he's still building. He's still building. Like, well, you know? I wasn't able to. I meant to go back and check because on the outside of the building it says like a word.
Oh, right. I did see that, yeah.
But I think it was in reference to something. I just don't recall what it was. But I was just like, okay, so he's going to start his club probably in the Batman 2 or something like that, or his new club. I hope he calls it the Iceberg Lounge or something like that.
Not a Club Penguin?
No,
probably not. Probably. He doesn't like being called that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Unless he accepts it now, like just as to disassociate, right? Know. But it should be. I'm very intrigued. Like I heard he's not going to be in a lot of Batman 2, but it'll probably be like Batman 1 where he has interactions.
Probably.
So I'm excited nonetheless, and like that we've got this. We're connected to him in some way now to see where he goes and like, how he moves on and stuff. So
and it was at the end we see him dancing with his girlfriend.
Yes,
who initially didn't want to go with him. She he tried to get her to flee the city with him, and she wouldn't do it because she's like, this is a business arrangement. Yeah. Come on. So he was very hurt by that. But then at the end he's dancing with her, and it's kind of like he was like talking to her like that was his mother.
Yeah.
Like, tell me you're proud of me,
she is wearing his mother's dress.
Oh, yeah, I saw. Yeah.
And the wig that looks like his mom. So it's just like, I think since his mom became a vegetable by the end of the show. Series, and so he can't get that acknowledgement that he's always wanted. So since he's like, all right, if it is a transaction between us, I'll pay you to play my mom, just so is even creepier.
It's creepy because it was like very sexual, and it's his girlfriend. So
so it's like his girlfriend, but it's also his mom. So it's just a weird added.
He's like, tell me you love me. I love you.
Yeah.
Tell me you're proud of me. I'm so proud of you. I was like, holy shit! And then he actually has his mother in the penthouse, upstairs, just in this empty room with her hospital bed, a total vegetable, staring out the window.
The city.
And then you see the mother, like a tear rolls down her cheek. She's like, I'm stuck in this prison with him now.
Yeah. I mean, like episode or 2 before, she's like, "I'm not going to be able to. If I become a vegetable, I need you to kill me."
Exactly. Yeah.
And so the fact that he doesn't do it is even worse. It's like he didn't. He promised too. He promised to do it.
Didn't fulfill his wishes.
Like But I wonder if we'll see some of those actors in Batman 2 as well with the mom at least, or
maybe.
But
maybe.
I don't know. We'll see. But
but I mean, it was such a great show. Like Justin, I'm telling you, man. Just if I know you don't watch a lot of television, but you're gonna
binge it together like it's one big movie.
Yeah, if you're gonna dedicate yourself to one television show, check this out.
Once the 4K Blu-ray comes out?
There you go.
There you go.
See, all right. There you go. See, are you intrigued at all to check it out?
Yeah, I think I am. I do worry, like when movies and television connect, that I'm like missing something.
You kind of are,
like
a little bit.
Doctor Strange 2, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you'd be pretty confused.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that Marvel's kind of straight into. DC's kind of stayed away from that a little bit, but
but I am interested to see how much it will connect with the next Batman film. I know the Batman 2 is going to like take place in like a wintry setting, so I'm not sure if how.
I think it's a few months. It's a few months after Penguin, because obviously by the at the end of Penguin it was snowing.
It was. It was at the beginning. Yeah.
It probably just leads right into the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I heard actually that Matt Reeves put a quote out there, or message out there, that in Batman 2 Bruce Wayne is going to be finding it hard to be Batman in that movie. And I was like, okay. Because he blames himself for what happened with the Riddler. Like, he thinks he inspired this to happen. So I was like, that's cool.
That's true.
And that this way we'll get Bruce Wayne to form. Because we didn't really have that Bruce Wayne in the first film.
Yeah.
So I think this is his way of developing that character. And then those moments that he needs Batman, he'll become Batman.
Right.
Do that. So I'm intrigued for the story for that. That should be interesting to see.
I was kind of hoping we get more of like a Batman Year One film with the Matt Reeves one. This is kind of like the second year of him, like the Matt Reeves kinds, and we kind of got a little bit of that with the Christopher Nolan Batman film, the one that came out with 2008, 10, whatever it was.
The Begins.
Yeah, Batman Begins. We saw it a little bit with that, but I was hoping we get like an actual from like the comic book Year One Batman. When he's starting off and he's fucking up fighting crime, and he's like realizing what he needs in order to. Well, again, we got a little bit of that with the Christopher Nolan one, but I was hoping that's what Christopher Reeve.
I felt some of that.
Pardon me, Christopher Reeves.
But, we did see his documentary.
We did see his documentary. It was great, by the way. Yeah, rest in peace, sir.
I felt we got some of that in the Batman movie with Matt Reeves, because he was messing up. He wasn't solving everything
that's true.
Immediately, and he was getting punches from random guys because he's not the best fighter yet.
Yeah, that's true. But he's also got a lot of armor on him. He's carrying a lot of weight.
So I think like every Batman movie, each one that follows after it evolves. So
yeah.
I think that'll evolve. The Batmobile will evolve.
Yeah. When his cowl was kind of stitched together. It's not. It does not like that smooth form that we usually see.
And for this Penguin series, is it a mini series, or are they continuing with more seasons?
No, that should be it.
Right now, it's just the one-off.
It's a one-shot.
Yeah,
one shot.
Yeah. So, because he's supposed to be at the top, he basically did a great job of in the series of convincing the underlings of the different gangs to take power and to knock out kind of like the old guard.
Yeah.
And so he's now kind of on top because he was able to kind of consolidate all the power together. So
pretty much like the new Kingpin.
Exactly like Kingpin. Yeah. Who controls all the gangs in the city. So
I like that they alluded to when there was a scene of him in the courtroom talking to the senator, making his deal. That they when he's up behind the dais.
Yeah.
They were alluding to, there's a comic book line of Mayor or Judge Cobblepot, he becomes a judge for a while. So, and or mayor as well, actually, because that's the seat of the mayor, not the judge. My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a plot. Yeah.
Judge.
But yeah, he becomes a mayor in a series. So
right.
I don't know because there was that one shot where when he leaves that courtroom, or the Capitol City Hall, whatever that is, he sees the mayor walking out, and he's looking up again. He's like, well, now I got to send to that because she's higher up,
Right.
So I was like,
maybe, that's a good point.
So I was like, okay, he wants to get higher. Almost like a bird, he wants to get that higher.
Because we saw Riel very briefly in the series. Yeah, he's in City Hall right before the scene that Chad is talking about, and we see Mayor. Well, I was going to say mayor-elect, but I guess she's mayor now.
Yeah.
Mayor Rial up on a balcony.
Yeah.
Like a second story. And Penguin's kind of looking up at her. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So it just felt like okay, he's not gonna stop there. He wants more power after that because he's got nothing. He's like, well, I'm not doing this for my mom anymore.
Or he's not doing it for Victor.
Yeah.
Because nothing's holding him back now.
Yeah.
And I think when he murdered Victor, it was him saying nothing is gonna hold me back. Not family, not friends.
Yeah.
Certainly not my the members of my gang.
Well, and he just had to erase anyone who's seen him at his weakest moment. He's like, you can't be around.
Can't be around. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. I think it was a great ending to a great show, and I really hope that this crew that worked on this show continues to do other things.
Yeah.
Because
if it's even another Batman themed show, between Batman 2 and Batman 3, if they do a Arkham show or something like that, that'd be interesting.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I even forgot to mention the tragic end for Sophia. She goes back to Arkham.
That's
it's
right.
That sucks.
And she gets relabeled as the Hangman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's not even be able to clear her name. Yeah.
So it sounds like they've developed the Penguin character a lot since the movie.
For sure.
Introducing these new characters. If this indeed is it for the television series, where are you hoping that they take the character in the future now that you've seen this?
I mean, if he's going to be in the movie, I don't know who's going to be. Have they announced who the main villain is for the next movie?
I mean, it was still rumors of a grounded Clayface or Hush. I've been hearing
Hush. Yeah, that's what I heard.
And I could see Hush going off the Bruce Wayne statement that Matt Reeves has said. So I'm not totally sure who it will be, but if anything, if they are doing a trilogy, if they're setting Penguin up, he should be the big bad for the finale, the third film. If not,
I agree.
If they didn't make a decision yet on Batman 2, I would say he would be a great villain for 2. But 3, he can end it because we know this character just as well as Batman right now.
Right.
So I think that would be an interesting finale to, like if he does become mayor and then he's got to fight. He's got to fight Batman as mayor and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think after this show we already knew he was going to come out in the second one, but you're right. I don't think that we've seen the last of him.
No,
in terms of that Batman universe. So, and I really hope we get to see more. That'd be awesome. Yeah, if there is like a Kingpin kind of showdown between him and Batman. Although he wasn't like, what I liked about him, he also wasn't like a great fighter.
No.
He's good with guns, but like when he took on Maroni fucked his ass up, dude.
I mean, he was throwing some punches.
He was throwing punches, but Maroni got the best of him.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be older,
Well, and
he'll get jacked in the next movie.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think he'll be like a physical threat.
No.
But like, I think he is quick with the gun, though. So,
right,
like,
very quick with
I
that,
think he'll be able to, I don't know if he'll have his like umbrella gun or something, which would be nice.
That'd be sick.
Because we did see his umbrella rack in there.
That's right, we did, yeah.
So it's like maybe, as he moves along, or like he gets some like tech guys like, hey, put this gun in my umbrella or something.
By the way, did you notice? I don't know if this was what it was, but in his apartment, he's got like a huge like mounted on the wall. It looked like monocles. Did you notice that?
I think I did. I do remember seeing.
It's
that.
like as soon as he walks into his apartment,
monocle?
it's on the wall. It's this huge like it looks like a wooden piece, but there's different. It looked like there was different monocles. Like I thought that's what it was.
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to watch it again. So
yeah,
I definitely plan on watching.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch it again. Yeah, for sure.
To run through. But,
Justin, come on, man. Hop on.
Is it better than Andor?
Is it better than?
Oh, Sidewinder.
That is a Sidewinder, dude. What would I much rather watch, this or Andor? Probably Andor. Andor is more because there's so many more different characters, and there's how can I describe it? There's an overall unifying threat that the people in Andor face, which is the Empire. Mm-hmm. Whereas Penguin is just centered on one guy. It's Penguin, obviously. So I don't know, man. Like I think the writing. That's close. That's neck and neck, dude.
I just know that was one of your favorites, so I was just.
It's definitely Andor. I would say
Andor, you like Penguin
Andor and
too,
Penguin
so.
are definitely some of the best TV shows like ever made. They're up there with like Breaking Bad, the earlier Game of Thrones, earlier Walking Dead. They're definitely up there with those. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like perfect shows, it's definitely like Breaking Bad, Andor, and Penguin. Yeah. I thought some of the stuff in Penguin was a little convenient, like especially when they would like walk in and just shoot everybody, or it's just it moved a little faster than I would have. I wish it could have slowed down a little bit when it came to that.
That's the problem with the 8-episode
exactly
thing. It's like
they got to move along. Yeah,
I mean, I do miss the times of 24 episode seasons or at least 13.
Yeah, true. Because you have a little more time.
You could, but I mean, part of that story, I don't see that lasting 24 episodes. So that's why
definitely not.
Maybe 13 they could have paced out the action a bit more.
Yeah.
But I thought what we got was fine. I was like, I get it. They had to clear out the opposing force a little quicker than
right. Then
what
we'd like, but, exactly.
And there's some disbelief there because it's a Batman story,
right?
So whatever.
It's still pretty grounded though. Yeah.
I know a lot of these series are given like huge budgets, and there's only so many episodes they could do before they have to cut back on each episode. Did it look like it was like the same kind of production
of
like the movies and stuff that?
Like
sure.
There were some shots that were like a little green screen at points, but it didn't take away from it, and it still met the tone color-wise to the original film.
Right.
So I felt it was...
Did they play dun, 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 dun?
In the last episode.
They did, yeah, you're right, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but no, I mean, Andor, I think, has... Which one would I much rather see again? Probably Andor, because it has themes of hope in it, where people rising up. Whereas this is just like, oh my God. This was just like, oh God, everything's just terrible, dude. Yeah, all the good people die. And like, Jesus, So yeah, I mean, it's still God. I mean, I was
got me to come back. The chief of police.
Yeah.
What did I get?
That guy, yeah, he was in Chernobyl.
Yeah, someone told me that.
Really good. Maybe it was Have you ever seen Chernobyl?
No, I still gotta watch.
Dude,
I still gotta watch Andor as well.
Dude, another amazing show, Chernobyl, dude.
It's like $17 for the 4K Blu-ray right now. I think it's on sale.
For what, Chernobyl?
Chernobyl.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that
it got a physical release.
Oh, good. I might get that.
Thanks for the gift, Justin.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, man. You gonna buy it for us? Nice.
We'll see who I get for the Secret Santa.
Okay, all right. Oh, I want Chernobyl. Just letting you know. I didn't know they made a physical copy of it. That's awesome. Oh, cool. I'm gonna.
It's always nice when the movies get a 4K Blu-ray.
That's awesome,
because there aren't too many of them.
Yeah,
like Andor's one.
Right.
I'm hoping Penguin's one.
Is it a multi-disc or?
I believe so.
Must
yeah,
be,
but it's a mini series, so it's all together.
Dude, you gotta watch that. It's really, amazing show. Yeah, Penguin, highly recommend. Justin, you gotta check it out, dude.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. We also watched a couple movies that we should talk about here. I guess the one that came out a little earlier, and we'll just go down like the list here, was Smile 2.
Mm-hmm.
You watched it, right, Justin?
Yeah. I actually saw it a bit later, so like not until like last week.
Yeah.
So it's a little more fresher in my mind.
Okay.
Compared to when it released.
What did you think? You saw the first one, right? Too Smile.
Yeah.
What did you think of this one?
I felt it was kind of on the same level from what I remember, because I haven't rewatched the first one since I saw it in theaters. Yeah. I think this one excels with its main character and her like personal story more, with the whole like drug abuse and tragic event that occurred in her life. It doesn't go like super deep with it, but I think there's great moments. Like I like there's a scene where her and her past boyfriend are like arguing in a car driving.
That's her like defining like psychological trauma.
Yeah. Well, in the first one, it was like her mom and issues with her mom, and then I remember her husband. I could be misremembering, but I remember her husband being like, "Hey, what can I do to help?" And she just doesn't explain anything.
In the first one,
but
I don't really remember that, but yeah.
But sure, so I felt that element was stronger this one. But the smile element I felt was a little weaker. They go further with it, and while the first one I remember it having like, oh, that wasn't real, and then you realize it tricked her. This one I feel like they pull a Uno reverse, like
they went
a
very
little
much
too many times.
They went very much into the dream world.
And yeah. So that's like general thoughts. What did you guys think?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to see it, but
you didn't? Oh, I thought
no. I did, but I saw the first one, and people who have seen it have told me that it was the lead actress. She did a great job, like she dealt with, had to act with. So I still want to check it out too. And from the trailers, part of me just gets a vibe of what's the name of the old movie with Kiefer Sutherland where they kill them to bring them back?
Oh, Flatliners?
Flatliners.
Yeah.
So I was like, are they doing a Flatliner movie?
It did seem like, yeah.
So I don't know if that happens in the movie, because like in that trailer, she mentioned, she meets the guy's like, well, we have to kill you first, and then and so so from my guess, I'm like, oh, they're gonna flatline.
So Naomi Scott plays Sky Riley, who's like a Lady Gaga-esque kind of pop singer. She has, the backstory is that she has drug and alcohol problems. For a long time, she was, I guess, like partying and doing drugs. And then one night, she and her boyfriend, who were pretty high, are out on the road. They're arguing. They're high as shit. And she grabs for the steering wheel, and they kind of launch off this. It looks like they're kind of side of a mountain or something.
Yeah, they're driving like in the hills.
Yeah. They lose control, and then he dies. She is pretty badly injured, and she's in recovery for like a year or two before she can make her comeback.
Yeah, and it works well in that way with the story, because of that. The drug addiction.
Yeah.
it's more understandable compared to the first one for someone to not believe her if she were to be telling people this, because they'd be like, oh, you're on drugs again.
Exactly.
So it helps that way
yeah,
too.
so like she, and you saw the first one, so you know that the supernatural being, whatever it is, like it feeds off of people's psychological trauma, and then uses them up basically for 5 to 7 days, something like that. And then before it kills the host and then moves on. How they describe it in this film is like it's like a virus that it uses hosts up, feeds off of them, and then moves on to the next one. And what you were talking about is that there's a guy, but this is the problem with the film, because you don't exactly know what's weird, what's real, and what's not. Like, there's a guy who approaches her and says, I know what you're going through. There's a friend of her drug dealer kills herself in front of her, who's a friend of hers from high school. So now she gets like the entity or whatever it's called. And he approaches her and says, I know what you're going through, because my brother killed himself 3 people back. I think how we can stop it is we stop your heart, and then it's unable to, technically you're dead, but it doesn't pass on to anybody. So then that's how we're able to stop it. But then in the film, we find out that maybe he wasn't real at all, or that's the problem with the film. I'm not sure. Yeah,
there are multiple characters where it's like, oh, actually, this character that you've been seeing the whole time, and there's like not necessarily hints at it until maybe like right before the reveal is made. Yeah. Oh, they weren't real.
Right, exactly.
Or these messages weren't real.
Yeah, she reaches out to a friend of hers who, like, here's a friend from way before she got famous, and so it's like her best friend. They had some kind of falling out. She reaches out to her and says, hey, can you, like, I missed you. Can you, because she's seeing now, she's seeing, how the entity makes people, like, suffer more by seeing things. Reaches out to her friend, and they kind of, it seems like they've reconnected. And then at the end of the film, it turns out that she actually never did reach out to her friend. Her friend never came over, and her entire interaction with her getting back together and finding some comfort in her friend was all bullshit.
Yeah, I found that element to be just a little excessive, because you have like moments with the friend where there's the smile thing happening. She's like, and then she wakes up and then she's with her friend. Yeah. So it's like, okay, she was hallucinating, and then she hallucinated more. Thing,
and then.
And I remember them kind of pulling a similar trick like that in the first film, but I felt like it was more
cohesive. Yeah, it was, the storyline was a little more easier to comprehend in the first one. And then so there's a scene where it's in the trailer where Jack Nicholson's son, who she's constantly seeing, smiling at her, like, again, it's in the trailer. He comes up behind her, she's looking in the mirror, and he pulls like her mouth back to like create a smile, right? And so then it cuts from there, and then the movie keeps going. But then we see at the end of the film that actually that moment where she was supposed to give a concert is where the film actually stops, and she kills herself in front of like a live audience of millions of people. And then so now she's passed on like the virus to like the entire world, basically. So it's like, wait a minute. So that's very early in the film. That's like the first half of the film. So the second and third half of the film was actually all hallucination. And a lot happens obviously in that time frame, like her friend getting back together, her talking to this guy who wants to help her kill the entity. A lot of hallucinations she went through. It's in the trailer where her backup dancers are in her apartment and they're kind of coming at her. They're in the hallway, and so all that didn't happen. That was a hallucination of a hallucination. So it's kind of like the storyline didn't make a lot of sense as far as the timeline, and it was a little muddled for me. It's like, so basically most of the second and third half of the film were all bullshit. It was weird, dude. It was weird. So, but I mean, aside from that, Naomi Scott's performance was amazing. I was telling somebody after the film about this. Unfortunately, it seems like the Academy of Motion Pictures is very like adverse to giving awards to horror films. And because they kind of, I guess they kind of see him still as like, childish. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows what their prejudice is?
Horror, straight comedy, right? Films. You don't see much of those.
Yeah, so they tend to have some type of prejudice against those movies. But Naomi Scott's performance in this was amazing, because there's parts where it's just the camera's just zoomed in on her face because she's seeing something, that's not there, and she's reacting to it, terror, crying. I mean, at fear. And it's just her face. I mean, her her acting in this. They just put the camera in her face, like, okay, go. And she just started going. It's amazing, man. She's a really great performer, and I think she should get at least nominated for something.
Well, I felt the same way for Toni Collette in Hereditary. I was just like...
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Like, she deserved the best actress for that. Mm-hmm. But, sadly, they're not going to look at that movie.
Right.
The creepiest part of the movie to me was just the credits and hearing her different screams and crying and stuff.
And
if you
remember, I didn't stick around for that. They did that.
It was
cool.
It was instead of music, it was like all her different screams,
really?
Stuff.
Oh shit!
It was. I was like, this is the creepiest part.
That's
not the people smiling.
I mean, the real creepy part was something. It was a complete practical effect because eventually we see the creature just like we started in the first one, which is like this kind of like long, gangly looking thing with the weird face and the eyes. That to me was like, whatever, But to me, the real creepiest part was where her backup dancers are in her apartment and they're kind of chasing her around.
Yeah.
But it's creepy because it's a practical effect. There was no makeup. It's just these people who have really good control of their bodies doing these kind of like odd contortionist things with them. So like there's a part where, and I think it's in the trailer, where they're all stacked up like in the hallway. They're like on the walls and shit. That was all real. They did that on. They actually did that. They kind of stood on each other's backs, and then there's a part where they're surrounding her in her living room and they're kind of coming over furniture. And again, it's just these people who, are obviously well trained in terms of how they can move their bodies. And there's a guy who like shoots his leg like over his head to like get onto the furniture. It's pretty well done, man. It's like one of the creepiest parts of the movie.
Yeah. Stan tried out for that part, but
I didn't get it. I couldn't climb the walls like them.
But the jump scares didn't get you guys. They were.
There wasn't a ton of jump scares. There was the one where
there's a lot of like loud noises.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff.
It's not. Probably the biggest one is like where Jack Nicholson's kid like opens her mouth.
I wouldn't consider it a super scary.
No.
movie.
Yeah,
it's the same as the first one.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. But I do have a problem. My only issue with these movies is I do have a problem where the supernatural entity is pretty much unstoppable. Like I have a problem with that because it's like, well, what the fuck is the point of this film then? It's just.
Well, I mean,
I think there's a way to stop it, but.
Well, no, but we never saw that though. But what is that the way to stop it? Because that's part of the hallucination, it seems. So I don't know.
You'd have to like trap the person and just sell.
Well, pretty much. The other thing is like, what I didn't understand is like, why didn't they just like? Oh, I'm sorry. So. How the film starts, we skipped over that part. We see the cop from the first film. You remember he saw her kill. I don't really understand his plan here, but it's actually the opening of the film.
It's a simulated one take.
Yeah, it's a one take, but it looks like something straight of like a crime thriller. It's really well done.
It starts the film pretty high.
It's really well. So the cop is obviously he's seeing things now. It seems like he understands what's happening. Like he has to pass this on to somebody.
Yeah, because he worked with the
that's right
first
with the doctor from the first film.
And the only way is either you yourself kill yourself and pass it on, or you kill someone else violently and pass it on that way.
Right. So the film starts off with they look like they're like Russian mobsters or something. Yeah. And he goes to their house again. He's a cop, so I guess he has some connections to the underworld there. So he finds out these Russian mobsters, like they're hiding out in this like kind of like drug den. He goes in there and he is about to murder one of the guys.
His goal is to murder the one guy. Like he slits his like whole body with the knife in front of the other guy, so it could be passed on to him.
Right.
But the problem is the other guy dies.
Yeah.
So it's passed on to the drug buyer.
That's right, yeah. Who was her friend from the
Oh.
So he goes in this drug den, kills the guy in front of him, but then there's a brief gunfight, and the guy who's supposed to pass it on to gets shot. Oh, and so that's when he's like, "You son, don't die!" And he turns around, and that guy just happens to be in the back the entire time. He didn't notice him.
Yeah, so it's passed on to that guy who is the main girl's friend,
right?
And then the cop, it's off him now.
It's off him now.
So he's running away, but
he gets hit by a car. Yeah.
It doesn't last long
as he kills the two guys, back up like the friends of these Russian mobsters show up, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And they immediately start shooting at him. He's able to get out the back. It's actually a pretty tense scene.
Yeah.
He's able to get out, but as he's running away, he gets hit by a car, and so now it's passed on to that drug dealer kid. So who passes it on to Naomi Scott's character.
Yeah, I think it made sense. I mean, the smartest way is to get like a bad person who's like trapped in a cell and has no contact with anyone, but given the hallucinations and stuff, you gotta act quick before you don't even know what's real. So.
Yeah, so again, that's my problem with these films is that this film specifically, you don't really know what's real, but I also have a problem with an unstoppable supernatural element. Like there's nothing that can slow them down. So what's the point of it? It's like let me finish that. But like the first one didn't make a ton of sense. The first victim didn't make a ton of sense to me because she was a so this thing feeds off your psychological issues, right? Mm-hmm. The first character, the first main victim, I suppose, was a psychologist. So for a brief moment, it also happens in this film, but in the first film, she's able to kind of like, it seems like, take control of the creature and it breaks its arm. And she's like, no, I'm stronger than you because I know this isn't real. And I was like, okay, this makes sense because she's a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So she knows, the inner workings of the human mind. Or I would think that would give her a little more strength because she's a psychiatrist. It doesn't. It immediately just bulldozers her. And as it turns out, it's another hallucination. In this film, we see Naomi Scott's character, who is really psychologically has a lot of psychological trauma from her mother, kind of using her her entire life to just kind of get a paycheck. She's like, it's like kind of like Michael Jackson's family that was like, using him to like, become famous and get money. She's been supporting her mother most of her life. Her mother really pushes her to extremes where she doesn't want to go. So she kind of falls into the drug life, falls into addiction, has psychological trauma because of her boyfriend being killed because of something she did. And there's a moment where the creature's about to like enter her, and you saw the first one where like it comes out and it's like this large, like kind of like gangly looking thing, and it like enters somebody's through their mouth, but only they can see this happening, right? So the creature's about to enter her, and she like bites its thumbs off, and the creature looks like it's hurt, but then all of a sudden it's like, ha ha ha, no, it's all bullshit. And there's another problem because she goes to this kind of abandoned fast food place. And the guy who's supposed to be helping her, pizza, whatever the fuck it was, she goes to this place to meet this guy who's going to sedate her. And then he's like, oh, I have to block they're in like a walk-in freezer. I have to block the door unless it locks. And then but none of that had to do with anything. It didn't matter. I thought that they were mentioning that for a specific reason.
I think it was just to create tension. Yeah,
exactly. But it didn't. Then he's like, oh, I'm going to go get something, disappears. And then that's when we see that she's actually hallucinating. The creature's in the meat locker with her. And that's about to take control. But again, it didn't make it. So it's like, so what was the entire point of it? What was the point of what was the point of this guy that wants to sedate her? What was the point of him wanting to block the door? It didn't make any sense. It was just all for nothing. Or maybe just to kind of throw the audience off that she was hallucinating, I guess. But then I was hoping that there was a moment where, because Riley is so psychologically damaged, that would actually be a strength for her. That she would say, well, no, and again, she takes control for a brief second, like, oh no, you're in my mind. And that's when she's able to kind of take control for a second. Mm-hmm. But again, it doesn't matter because the creature's just like, no, it's just another trick that I pulled on you. Yeah. Like I want to see like a moment where it's like, no, actually it's not a trick. This person is so psychologically damaged or is strong enough mentally to be able to sustain, to fight this thing off and actually like pull away from it. But it doesn't. It just constantly barrels right through any kind of obstacle that's put in its way. So I'm just like, so why am I rooting for the main character? I know that they don't have the power to stop it, obviously. So I'm like, what's the point of it? So I have issues with that. Even like in older movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, right? People were able to sometimes in the dream world fight back against Freddy and take control. It didn't always. Sometimes they lost, but there were moments when they did win. Because of that. Because it's like, well, no, this isn't real, and I'm stronger than you. And that's what I was hoping would happen with these characters, at least with Riley, because she's so fucked up mentally that when she did, like, the creature has her, like its hands in her mouth, and she's able to bite its thumbs off, and it's kind of like screaming there, but then no, he flips, no bullshit. I was just fucking with you again. It's just okay,
Well, so I mean, like, would you not like Michael Myers because they can't kill him,
But be a win against Michael Myers, though.
I mean, they can get away.
Him. Yeah, but that's beating him, though. I mean, and he got chopped to fucking pieces in this last one.
Well, I mean, yeah, the newer, obviously, they did find a way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like...
Jamie Lee Curtis survives the first one, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These people don't.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what's the point? Why am I cheering for this character knowing that they're just going to be fucking bulldozed at the end?
Yeah, I guess Stan's saying is like with a Michael Myers or something like that, maybe there's a little more hope of defeating.
Yeah, and they have weaknesses. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Even Freddy had a weakness. Shit, Jason had a weakness, which is water. This thing has no weaknesses, which I don't like. I don't like that. Again, it's like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching these movies? Why am I caring about these characters, knowing that they're just going to get bulldozed in the end? You know,
well,
like
the
at least there's not even a final girl. There's no final.
I'm more curious of because like obviously it's usually 7 days and then they kill themselves.
Yeah,
but it's just like, is the mind that weak after 7 days? That's why it could jump into your body. Like I never understood that part.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, and you would think that if the two people that could handle this thing is a psychiatrist.
Well, I would say
and a person who's very psychologically damaged, you'd think those two would be the ones that would be able to stand up to this thing.
Well, I can debate the psychologist only because she was seeing a therapist herself.
Yeah, but
and like so she's been working through something.
But that's what I'm saying. So like, why make her a psychiatrist? Why make her anything else? Make her a dock worker. It doesn't. You know, her psychiatry degree obviously didn't matter.
To give a sense of like, oh, maybe she can handle it, but no, that's
I suppose, but obviously if she can't, then what's the point of that? What I'm saying is it didn't give her a leg up at all.
Yeah,
you would think it would give her up and if you want to switch like the characters, like okay, Riley would have been in the first movie and then the psychiatrist would have been in the second. That would have made a more sense because like she's or whatever. How do it? Like
I think wouldn't a way to defeat is like okay, this person. They're seeing the smile entity or whatever like that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take you somewhere where no one else is around, and I'm gonna shoot you and kill you.
Well, obviously that's supposed to be, or they could just kill themselves, throw themselves off a building or something like that. Yeah,
and hopefully no one saw it or something like that. So, like, I mean, there is a way to win. Yeah. It's just they don't have the guts to do that.
That's true. But that's what I mean. Like, I understand them not wanting to die at the end.
Yeah.
But no matter what they do, they die regardless. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like, well, what's okay? Why am I rooting for this character here? Why am I even invested in this character, knowing that they're just going to die in the end? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And that's my problem with the Smile movies. There's a couple other supernatural elements that are out there, like movies that are pretty much the same way. Like they kind of just bulldoze through everything. It's like, I hate to bring this up, but it's kind of like Rey in Star Wars. She has no weaknesses and she bulldozes through any opposition that's in front of her. So it's like, why am I invested in this character and why do I care about her, knowing that they're just going to win in the end, no matter what? There's nothing that slows them down. That's my problem with, particularly with Smile. So
yeah, but because of that, I kind of felt the same way as I did with the first one.
Right.
I'd have to give it a rewatch to confirm, but I'm not sure if I want to just go rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good at setting a creepy element, creepy atmosphere, but that's it. I mean, it's not.
But before the movie started, we saw the actress Naomi.
She did? She was there?
No. It was you didn't get a pre-recorded introduction?
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, thank you all our fans. I'm so happy to join the Smileverse.
Yeah, Smileverse.
So if we see another Smile
we'll definitely see another Smile.
What would you like to see them do?
Yeah. I mean, the only way they can do, because the movie, it finished with her killing herself in front of millions of people because she's doing a live concert. So I don't know how they could, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Everyone's.
So the budget for this was $28 million and made $131 million. So they're definitely gonna make more.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a drop from the first film,
for sure,
but it's still definitely successful.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one was budget of 17, and then the box office 217. So yeah, I mean, once you get returns like that, they're just gonna keep making them.
Yeah.
Well, so it'll probably be a prequel, if anything.
Because I think the concept of this movie, other people have been comparing it to It Follows and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it doesn't quite fit that. It more in line. It lines up with Truth or Dare. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
I never saw that.
Pretty much,
there's a big smile in that one.
Exactly. There is a big smile.
I didn't see it, but the poster's like this girl with a big smile.
I think I know what you're talking about. It came out like 2010.
It forces you to play Truth or Dare, and like it eventually has you like kill yourself or you accidentally do something or kill somebody and the like. But the thing is, the ending you just told me for Smile 2, they must have, adapted or took it because it's very similar to how Truth or Dare ends. She loads up a video of it on YouTube and millions of people watch it, and then they're forced to play Truth or Dare as well.
Oh, come on.
So I mean,
yeah.
But I will say they almost beat it, but it escaped whatever it was, and there's like, well, now I have no other choice, and I have to pass a truth or dare on. So
I see.
She does it, so it's millions of people, so won't get back to her turn.
Yeah,
because it takes turns with in a game of truth or dare.
Yeah,
so that's why I was like, oh, that's smart. But there has been no sequel, so it's like.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know how they can do a sequel to this because now it's like a post-apocalypse. Everybody in the world is.
Well, I mean, that's what
go big budget.
I mean, yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. They did that ending either because they're like, well, we just want to finish this and we probably won't get a sequel, so let's just. Or they wanted to make a sequel, but now I don't. They kind of, if that was their intention to get a sequel, they shot themselves in the foot. So I don't know how you can do a sequel to this. With that ending, I don't. Unless there's again a post-apocalyptic.
Crazy with it.
Yeah, well, everybody's killing themselves. Or I don't know.
Unless everybody
until
they're on their way.
If there's multiple people with a smile, what happens if they both kill each other tragically in front of one another?
Exactly.
I guess he gets eliminated.
Yeah,
it'll continue right after Smile 2, and it'll be a battle royale in the stadium of the performance, and
there you go.
Just. Everybody killing each other until there's one left.
It is funny seeing all the studios trying to make a horror movie with like a similar trends. Like you mentioned, Truth or Dare.
Yeah.
There's I think it's a Paramount Plus exclusive film called Spin the Bottle.
Oh,
and it's a horror film.
Are you serious?
It's a horror film. I think Justin Long's in it. Centered around the game Spin the Bottle.
I haven't heard of that.
And I think there's like based on the trailer, it looked dumb. Like the bottle, you don't want it to land on you or something.
I haven't heard of that. No. Wow.
It doesn't look good, so I just found out about it yesterday.
Watch it for us and tell us how it is.
I'm not subscribing to Paramount Plus. I'm sorry.
Come on, it's Justin Long, man.
Yeah,
Justin Long's great.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
If they bring it to 4K, I'll watch it, which I don't think they will.
All right, then. All right.
Okay.
Spin the Bottle, coming soon.
Coming soon. Yeah, we'll watch and review it on here.
I mean,
would you recommend Smile 2, Justin?
If you enjoyed the first one, you'll probably enjoy this. But if you didn't, you'll probably feel the same way, I think. Yeah. I know people are saying that the second one's better, but I kind of walked out the same way.
Performance is certainly better. The main, I mean, again, the main actress's performances were, that's something else. She's a great actress, and if she doesn't get nominated for something, what the fuck,
Yeah, she is able to convey an extreme amount of emotion.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good date night movie just to, but again, I've got a lot of problems with the writing and just how this thing is like unstoppable. So, yeah, I mean, I give it a B-, I suppose, because their performances were amazing. So, yeah. So, yeah, are you going to watch it, Chen?
Yeah, no, I'll check it. Is it still in theaters?
Yeah, it's still in theaters.
Yep. Maybe on one of these holiday breaks, if it's still in theaters, I'll check it out or something if I have time.
Yeah.
I think it is a Paramount movie, so another Paramount Plus. Possibly.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
There you go, see?
Should I subscribe and watch both Smile 2 and Kiss the Bottle?
Spin the Bottle.
Spin, sorry. Like,
Jesus.
That's a different movie, Kiss the Bottle.
You could tell a group of people, hey, you want to play Spin the Bottle? And they'll say yes, and then you'll play the movie.
Play the movie, see? Exactly. And so we all watched Heretic, which was its latest Hugh Grant movie.
Yes.
Chad and I were in the same theater.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't even know.
Didn't even know.
Same row.
Because Chad is well known for inviting people to movies.
Hey, it's like it's a feeling. It's hard to really gauge the invite situation. It's usually I'm invited to with people, and it's like you don't really you don't invite outsiders really. It's just
Jesus.
If you watch the movie Outsiders, you get it.
Yeah, okay.
You understand.
Well, not really, but okay.
Rob Lowe with his...
yes, I know what Outsiders is, thank you.
And Ralph Macchio.
Tom Cruise is in there, too.
Oh, yeah.
With his... before he fixed his teeth.
Yeah, his tooth.
Yeah.
And then you get Patrick Swayze. No. Is he in that movie?
Patrick Swayze? He's not in that. You're thinking Roadhouse, dude.
No. Not Patrick Swayze. I'm thinking of Charlie Sheen, right? He's in it?
I don't think he is.
No. Okay, then I'm thinking of Matt Dillon.
I don't believe he's in that as well.
I think he is. I think he is.
I haven't seen The Outsiders yet.
Oh, come on,
damn it,
dude.
Justin.
He hasn't come to theaters. That's why. That's why. That's why he hasn't watched it. Let's see. What? No.
What? Oh.
No. I was trying to look up Outsiders, but it's not coming up. Anyway.
Heretic.
Heretic, yes. What'd you guys think?
I loved it. I thought it was...
Give us a synopsis, Chad.
Pretty much two missionaries from the Book of Mormon, not the play.
No, not the Book of Mormon, the Mormon Church.
What?
The Book of Mormon is their Bible. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
so
not. They're not. That's not their religion. They call themselves Latter-day Saints.
Two people from the Bible.
From the Bible.
Well, but the Bible's from the Mormon Church, is it not? Am I wrong?
What?
They're Mormons.
Yeah, but they're Mormons, but they're not.
If you say they're from the Book of Mormon,
that's like saying like you're from the Bible.
Okay, all right.
They're Mormons. They're Latter-day Saints.
So they're not Mormons.
They are Mormons.
But they're Latter-day Saints.
That's the same thing. I don't know why they call themselves Mormons or Latter-day Saints, but that's
I
the
didn't
same
hear
thing.
Latter-day Saints throughout that
whole
movie.
No, but they have a little badge that says Latter-day Saints. So
I don't know about that, Justin. Did you see that?
They have a name tag that says Latter-day Saints on it.
Did you see that, Justin?
I think.
Can you confirm?
Latter-day. Maybe because Mormon has more of a negative connotation.
I don't think they say they were Mormons, but they certainly say Latter-day Saints.
So maybe that sounds more
and they do
appealing.
say Book of Mormon, yes.
I don't know. Well,
anyway.
Either way.
We got off. Yeah. Anyway, two Mormon girls.
Two missionaries.
Let's just
work with that.
Yeah, they're missionaries. Yeah. They're two Mormon girls on their mission because Mormons go on mission for like 2 years or something like that when they're young. And they have to like try to, they're missionaries. They're trying to convert people or whatever.
Let people know about the good word.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they ride bikes around. I've seen them. We've all seen them ride around.
Nope.
Yeah. You haven't seen them?
No.
The one in the white shirts?
No.
Right on bicycles?
No. I've seen it in movies. Never in real life.
There was a lot here in L.A. for a while. Yeah.
Oh. I guess they don't come to apartment complexes.
They do.
Not mine.
Okay. I mean, not yours, but I've seen them. They were in my apartment complex when I was still in an apartment.
It's probably because you're very susceptible.
That's true. Yeah, they did convert me. I'm a Book of Mormon.
Oh yes, yes you are.
Yes, I'm a Book of Mormon.
I mean, yeah, that's where you get the Book of Mormon. You get it from the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, that's my religion, Book of Mormon.
Yeah, Book of Mormon.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, synopsis on this: two Mormon missionary girls.
Yes, they are tasked with going house to house.
Matt Dillon is in The Outsiders, by the way.
And I was right. Boom! One on the board for Chad.
There you go. So you're right about one thing.
And the Book of Mormon. And as I was saying, they are tasked with going house to house, obviously. And they come to Hugh Grant's home.
Uh-huh.
And they start it starts raining. They've locked up their bikes. And as they're talking to him, he invites them in, but they want to confirm that there's a woman on the premises, or his wife, or just any woman in general. And he's like, "Oh, my wife's in the kitchen there making some blueberry pie."
Apparently, that's another thing that Mormons can't do. They can't be in a room with the opposite sex unless there's another person of the same sex in the room. So, like Mike Pence, the former VP, had that issue. Like, he doesn't want to be in a room with a woman unless another woman is present or his wife is present, something like that. Well, it's like a rule that Mormons have, apparently.
Is he? I don't think he's Mormon though.
No, but I mean, he's not Mormon. But
he's a Latter-day Saint, dude.
Yeah,
he's a Latter-day Saint.
He's not a Book of Mormon. But I'm saying is there's certain, I guess, religious sects and religions that have that rule. But yes, Mormons have that rule.
Yeah.
So that's why they come in the house.
Yes, yeah. and they come in and they're cordial at first, back and forth about the interesting parts of the religion and the Book of Mormon.
There you go. Now you got it right. Finally.
It's just easier to say Book of Mormon than, Book of Latter-day Saints or Latter-day Saints.
There's no Book of Latter-day Saints.
They aren't the book, though.
They are the book. They are the book. The whole
that's
movie.
Like saying, what religion are you? The Bible. It's like, what?
I'm
the Quran.
Yeah, the Quran.
I'm King George's The Bible, okay?
King George?
Yeah, King George.
Who's King George?
You
mean King James?
No, mine was George. I didn't have the James Bible.
It was.
I don't know what you've been reading.
I mean, that's the Bible, the King James version.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I have the edition before that. It's George.
The Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what you had before that? Damn, dude. That's real Old Testament.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so they go inside the house.
Yeah, they go inside the house, and as they're talking, things get a little unsettling. with the tone of how Hugh Grant's like asking them questions, being a little bit more abrasive, like having multiple partners, like Mormons usually, or I don't know if they still do it now. Multiple wives.
Multiple wives. Yeah.
Well,
the polygamy thing.
Not officially. Yeah, not officially.
There's still a few sects out there that.
Yeah. But as this is going on, they keep asking, it's like, oh, can your wife just come out and say hi at least and stuff like that. And as it drags on, you notice the lights just turn off because it's on a timer. And so he's like, oh, that's just how the house works. And obviously, and as it keeps going on, he keeps luring them in. He's like, oh, let me go check on the pie, and they're left alone to like be a little bit nervous. And I'm drawing a blank. What happens to cause them to bring them to the back?
Because so eventually they say, well, we have to leave because this is getting. We have to start getting back to where they're staying with the church or whatever it is. And he says, okay, well, that's fine, but like the door can't open because it's on a timer.
The pin.
So he goes in the back and tries to bring out some, he's I'm going to go talk to my wife at the blueberry pie. They see that there's a candle burning that's blueberry pie scented.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we should just go. Like, we're sending out people light. Let's go. Oh, he took their coats when they came in.
Yes.
And because Mormon missionaries ride around these bikes, that's how they get around. They had to lock the bikes up outside, but they don't have the key for it. They say, well, it's 2 miles back to
4 miles.
4 miles, yeah, back to wherever they're staying in snow. They say, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Try to get out the door, they can't, and he comes back and they realize that he's kind of locked them in, and he says, well, I can't open the front door because it's on a timer. It's the way I've designed this house. It's not going to open again until 8 o'clock tomorrow, whatever he says. So you have to go out the back. And so they go in the back of the house, and that's where they see it's kind of like an altar type of room that he's designed with all different types of religions. The room has corners from every different type of religion. So the main religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and there's some Buddhist elements over there. Yeah. And he says, in order to leave, there's 2 doors. In order to leave, you have to go out the back house because my house is on a hill. I'm sure you noticed that when you came in. So you have to go down these stairs to get out the back. And to go oot. Yeah, to go oot, yeah. And he writes on the wall, however, that's when he presents to them this theory that I've heard before, that the story of Jesus Christ being crucified and reborn and being the Son of Man has been recycled throughout different types of religions throughout humanity's history, which I've heard. I know about this. I've heard about this before. And he points out Osiris from the ancient Egyptian religion, that he was also born of a virgin, son of God, crucified, resurrected, reborn, and it's repeated throughout human history. So he's trying to convince them that basically what they believe is bullshit, that there is no God, religion is just a sham, and it's a retread of different ideologies, and that's when he takes out the monopoly board.
Yeah.
That this woman, I didn't know about this. This woman had come up with the exact same concept in Monopoly. Then some guy ripped her off, actually branded it as Monopoly, made millions of dollars.
Yeah, it was called Landlord.
Landlord, that's right. Yeah.
And then
yeah. And then he now they're just rebranding different types of Monopoly. Star Wars Monopoly, Celebrity Monopoly.
I forget what Hollywood. The third one he brought out was like. I want to say it was Star Wars Monopoly, but it was like something else. Like,
well, no, because the Mormon one was like a special edition Monopoly. I think, because he said it was the weird spinoff.
Yeah, because it's fairly new. I mean, it was just Mormonism was just created in the 1840s, I believe. Yeah. So it's not like this ancient, mystical religion that you see associated with Christianity and Judaism.
Yeah.
And so he writes on the 2 doors, faith.
Or no, disbelief.
Disbelief and belief, right. Yeah. And he says, choose which ones, according to your faith, do you believe in your religion? Do you believe in God, or do you believe it's bullshit? And the one missionary
there's one that kind of feels a little not fully
Sister
committed
Barnes.
To the religion.
Oh, Sister Paxton, yeah.
And
played by Chloe East, and Sister Barnes, the other one, played by Sophie Thatcher, yeah. So, Sister Paxton is a little less believing. Although we see that it seems like she's more into it, whereas the other one, Sister Barnes, is seems like she's she's more devoted to the religion, but is when we first see her, seems like she's not as devoted as we think she may be.
Yeah.
But it actually turns out that it's the reverse with these two characters. But yeah, Sister Barnes, who's played by Sophie Thatcher, is like, no, I believe. And whereas, Paxton is more like, I'm not sure which, I'll go out whatever door, it doesn't matter to me. But she goes through the belief door and...
Well, she takes notice that he's studying us because, like, she noticed how his eyes react to the flame of the candle, and like he was monitoring every movement they made,
right,
stuff like that. So she's already on to him from that point.
Yeah,
and she's like, okay, we're gonna take this door,
right?
And they take the
belief.
Belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, both doors just lead into a basement, so it wouldn't have mattered. And they go into this basement that's just kind of like this kind of dungeon looking thing.
Yeah, with like a table in the center and like water leaking from a skylight.
Yeah. And that's when he tells them that you're about to see a miracle. And this old lady comes out with this pie, a blueberry
and
pie.
And she's like
turns out.
in a garb that makes her look like, like a Mother Mary type, but it's all dirty and
seems kind of like like an old, like what you would think would be like a leper, in a way. It kind of looks like that, like an old like the old portrayal of lepers, like in the medieval world or whatever. So she comes out carrying a pie and just like a lantern, and she eats this pie, and he tells her, well, the pie is actually poison, so you're going to see something. You're going to see a miracle today.
Yeah.
She's going to be resurrected and brought back. So he's basically trying to question, he's testing their belief and saying that this is all bullshit, what you believe. There is no religion, there's no God, because my wife wasn't able to be saved despite...
Well, and I'll say at this point, though, when he's, because he's not revealing all of that.
Right.
But... when he's like, you're about to witness a miracle, and I was like, oh, okay, so he's found something.
That's what I thought
he stated
too,
earlier. He's like, I found the true religion. He doesn't state what it is.
Yeah,
but
you get the belief that you get the sense that has no faith anymore left.
Well, I didn't see that.
I think there could have been a possibility of him being like a Satanist.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I thought, it's like he's posing this woman to be this prophet,
right?
That he found, and I was like, oh, is this going to be like real? And
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
And
well, so, I got the sense that he didn't because he said he's been studying religion his entire life.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the conclusion he came to was that it's not real because he was telling the girls about the monopoly. Like it's just rebranded over and over and over again. So, but for a second when I saw the old lady come out with the pie, he said you're going to witness a miracle. I was like, oh, maybe he did. He lost his faith, but then he found it with her. Well, like that's where I thought it was going.
Well, yeah, because upstairs before they went down, when he was like, when he did say that, it's like I've been searching a very long time,
right?
And he shows all the pictures of the different religions and stuff. He's like, but there was one that I found came to it, and like he doesn't tell you what it is. So it was like, oh, so there is something.
He found something.
He believes in.
Yeah.
So and you think it's this prophet that he put down there. Like personally, I thought it was gonna get creepier, like it's a weird demon monster thing or something
me too,
that we would get. But no, it was this woman, and she eats the pie that's filled with like poisonous.
Wolfsbane, he says. Yeah. So she does die.
Yes.
And he says, but just give her a minute. She's gonna come back. She's gonna come back.
And like he as he's like taking notes, like 9:03, and he's like, all right, tell me what you see, and like describe everything. And it seems.
Oh, like, he has them check her pulse.
Yeah.
She's got no pulse. What sends them up the stairwell?
I think
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, which ends up not doing anything in the film. He's their supervisor.
He's trying to find the girls because they didn't report back.
Yeah.
So he's going to all the homes and
that were on their
asking
list,
if they've seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Topher Grace knocks on his door. He leaves, and that's when the girls go up this other set of stairs, and they try to get these matches so they can start a fire. And so while they're down there, the woman is dead down in the basement area, and Topher Grace ends up not being any significant part of this film. His character,
it's like head something.
Anyway, Hugh Grant's character, Mr. Reed, speaks to Topher Grace. I haven't seen the girls, and then for a moment it seems like he's kind of suspicious. He's being a little suspicious of Hugh Grant's character. I would be remiss to ask, did you get this pamphlet? And he's like, it's like a Saturday Saint pamphlet. And that's it. Then we never see Double Grace again. Like, okay. But that gives the girls enough time to try to get these matches under the door so they can start a fire to get out of there.
Yeah.
And that's when Hugh Grant's character comes back. They go back downstairs into the basement, and that's when they see, isn't it?
Well, I think the girl rises.
No,
first,
not yet. Not yet.
Before he comes down.
No, not yet.
Well, no.
So they go back down, and they see that her head is moved because she was face down in the pie, and now she's like face. Now she's like on her face is on the side. Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. So they do go back down. The girl rises again, and she starts talking to him, and then Hugh Grant's character is like, what is she saying to you? And she says, it's not real. Like, basically, that what she saw on the other side, his interpretation is that what she saw on the other side, nothing happened. It was just darkness. But then she says it's not real, and that gives them some... Later on, we see that gives a hint as to what's going on.
Yeah, in between that moment and the whole stairwell scene, there is the naive missionary. I forget her name.
Sister Paxton.
Yeah, Sister Paxton. She does notice that the hand was moved on the table. So she's actually thinking like, oh, she moved. And then as they ignore that and they're trying to strike the match, the prophet disappears from the chair and table and appears behind them to tell them.
Right.
Like, and then Mr. Reed's back on Hugh Grant. He's back on the mic. He's like, he doesn't hear what she said to them. Yeah. So he comes down to ask, like, what did she say to you?
Yeah.
But he sends her back up into that
there's like a little cubby hole.
Room,
where she stays, supposedly.
And, like, she goes, like, a listing of clouds and some other stuff, and then is like something not real at the end.
Yeah, it's not real.
Goes, okay. And he's like, do you see now? And so he's trying to... And he grabs the match from them and he
strikes it,
and he automatically
showing that nothing happens. But then that's when she kills Sister Barnes, which is because she basically begins to question him, and he says she begins to question him and saying that her faith is stronger, so it doesn't really matter what the woman said.
Yeah,
but that's when he kills Sophie Thatcher's character. That's when he slits her throat. He stabs her, basically, and then slits her throat.
Yeah.
She falls over.
He slits her throat first, and she falls over.
Yeah.
And then he's pretending, at least he's saying,
this is the part that kind of confused me.
He says, like, he'll be able to, like, resurrect her or whatever.
Yeah,
like
she'll be able to come back.
But he earlier in the film, he noticed the little birth
scar.
control device. And he assumes that since they're Mormon, or at least the other girl who doesn't have it in it, that she wouldn't know what it is. So she takes it out and says, she's a fake person.
Before that he says, I think we're living in a matrix that has gone awry, and you will once you die, you will be born. You'll wake up and you'll be outside of the matrix. And I think this is an NPC, is what he calls her.
Yeah.
That is just here to confuse you, and that's when he cuts her arm open and takes out that. When he took out
he cuts it out, and then he says that.
That's
He's
right.
like, it didn't work.
Yeah, see here, this is what it is. Yeah, so she's not coming back, and it's the metal piece that's in her. For a second, I was like, oh shit! Like, is this some type of? Now we're going like into Johnny Mnemonic style, where it's like is she's in Matrix style, where she's actually going to be reborn out of something or wake up from some Matrix type of machine.
Yeah.
But no, it's a birth control device, and Sister Paxton realizes what it is. She says, I don't think it's a chip. I think it's a birth control device. Yeah. And he goes, well, really? Well, how many Mormon girls do you know have birth control devices?
Yeah.
So he tries to kind of get around, but then...
Yeah, because we see at the beginning of the film, she's talking about, like, porn and
they're both like
stuff. So you kind of get to know, okay, she's not like full Mormon.
Well, and Sister Barnes,
that's why she kind of knows what it is,
right? And Sister Barnes is we get a little bit of backstory that she wasn't born into the Mormon church. She kind of converted younger because her mother converted, but she came from a larger city than Paxton did.
Yeah.
So she's probably had some connection to the outside world. Well, I should say outside of that religion.
It's
not not like they're like a compound or something.
Outside of the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, outside of the Book of Mormon. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah.
No,
So she eventually says, I think that your actress here, it doesn't say that, but she thinks this is fake, that she messed up her lines, and that's why he's had to kind of compensate for that by killing Paxton and saying that she's an NPC.
Yeah.
And so she goes, I think what happened was you switched the bodies when she died, and I think that there's I don't know how you did it, but somehow you switched the bodies.
Yeah.
And that's when she flips the table over and sees that there's a trap door down there. And he says, well, if what you're saying is true, then there should be a dead body in there.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm going to go down there and find out. And he says, don't go down there unless you want to find out what the true religion is. Goes down into this kind of subterranean cave.
Yeah.
There is a body down there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, is this guy full of shit now, or is what's going on? So obviously this isn't something of a miracle.
Yeah.
And she keeps going down. And that's when there was like, I think the creepiest part of the film, because like she's going through like these rooms that have like, I guess like, I don't want to call them cults, but like,
It was a
cultish kind of
voodoo and Satanist.
Yeah, I mean,
like, materials.
I don't know what to call them. Non-traditional religions or beliefs, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, heretic.
Yeah, heretic type. Yes, exactly.
Hedonist.
Yeah, so there's a room that's like kind of like voodooish, Santeria type.
Yeah,
and then she goes into a room that's definitely like more satanic.
Yeah,
and then she goes into another room that's like this, like it's like a holding pen, and it's got like cages in it with these women in them.
Yeah.
And that's when Hugh Grant comes down. It's like, well, so you found the you found the true religion, and the true religion to his belief is power
or control.
Excuse me. Yeah. Which, I mean, I've kind of felt that about religion for a long time. It's like that's what religions really are. They're more about control than your personal beliefs. Or that's what I mean. Like what I'm saying is that they all try to kind of control their adherence to an extent.
Wait a minute, Stan. The door's not locked, right?
Here comes the one with the pie. Yeah. Anyway, so he says that there is no true religion but power, and then that's when he's been holding these women, and then that's when she realizes, like, oh yeah, no, she did mess up her lines.
Yeah.
And she was just one of your people that you've kidnapped here.
As punishment, he snipped off one of her fingers.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Now, what I didn't understand was like these are women who he's been kidnapping, or these are women who have like fallen into his cult. I don't really understand.
And he's like keeping them like barely alive.
Yeah. And he looks like he was like he's also spraying him something. I think it's like some kind of drug. Maybe
I think it was water.
Yeah, I think it's just to keep him cold and like sick.
Okay, yeah,
sickly.
Yeah, because it was cold in the room.
Yeah,
it was like a refrigerated room.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know, because they were all dressed the same as the lady.
Right. No, there's like this white shawl.
So it's like I don't know if he just uses them part of his ploy or if he does anything else with like.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part.
Because like he does come up behind the missionary and she's like, "Your magic panty," because she wears the Mormon, or I guess the underwear that.
Yeah, Mormons wear like some type of underwear that they.
Yeah,
part
it's
of the
like
religion.
a chivalry. I mean, not a chivalry.
It's like a shawl.
Yeah.
Type of bloomers looking thing. Yeah.
I thought it was like sort of like to signify being a virgin and stuff like that.
I guess
I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
It seemed like that's what I was like. Oh, is he trying to have sex with her too, or something? Like I wasn't certain on it, but it gave that vibe. But I was like, is he doing that with all these women? Because I don't think so now, because they're all like old and decayed.
Yeah.
So.
Although there was that part about we kind of skipped over a part where. Excuse me. They're going through town before they go into his house, and they see some girls who are not Mormon, and they're like, typical teenage girls, taking pictures, like wearing whatever they want, because they're both dressed very conservatively.
Yeah.
And one of the girls wants to take a picture with her and says, "Is it true what they say about you that you have magic underwear?" And she fucking pants her.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus. And they just run off, and she has the whatever nightgown looking thing.
Yeah,
whatever
some kind of like old fashioned 1700 looking pants.
Yeah.
Underneath.
But yeah, that's when he reveals to her that he's just kind of like this fucking sicko. Yeah. I mean, we've already got that vibe.
Yeah. But like I personally, I thought he was actually studying them for the while, but then when he's like, "Oh, she'll find the true religion," I was like, okay, so it's still about this, but then it's about him just holding, controlling. Like I didn't get the the full reason behind it. Like
I didn't understand that either. Yeah,
but I mean, I thought it was still very interesting and just very obviously very dark and cool. But if I could have learned a little bit more, I just wanted to learn why he keeps them down there.
I didn't get it either.
Yeah,
I think it just seems like he went kind of nuts with his study of religion.
Yeah, he probably just lost his mind going through all of that and like, you know what? I'm gonna
too many Book of Mormons.
Yeah, too many Book of Mormons.
Yeah,
he starts his own religion, Book of Mr. Reed, and that's just
King George edition.
King George edition.
But they do end up back in the basement.
Back in the first room.
Yeah,
when they went down the stairs.
Yeah, so they do end up back in there, and
no, because there's a tool that the other girl gives her to stab
the letter opener,
and she doesn't go for it when he slits the girl's throat because she's too scared.
Yeah,
so when he mentions the magic panties, then she stabs him in the neck, and then runs and then gets back up into that basement area.
Yeah. So he finds her down there, and looks like he's basically about to kill her.
Yeah. Well, he
does stab her.
She's trying to get out the door, and she turns around to find him, and he stabs her right in the gut with the razor blade. Yeah. And then
so they're both bleeding out, and then she starts praying.
Yeah.
And then he crawls up on her and looks like he's scared of dying and wants to have people pray for
his life or something like that.
She wants. It's like he wants to be part of this, I guess, prayer before he dies. I suppose it seemed like that was what it was.
Part of me, I was like wondering if, while he was dying, he was trying to see if he saw what.
The other woman saw.
Like, because if everyone's given that, because the one missionary before her throat was slit, she was saying everybody gives that same description of seeing this color and the cloud
by near-death experiences.
And he's like, he probably was. I don't know if he was trying to say something, like he was like what he sees or not, or if he was just saying pray.
Because he crawls on top of her and lays her head, and lays his head on her chest, like as if like pray for me too or something.
Yeah, or something like that. And then, but before that happens, he's actually trying to kill her again. Yeah. And then,
he's going to strike the final blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when the final blow is struck on him by Barnes, who is turned out is just barely able to manage enough strength. Yeah, even though she's been bleeding out. Yeah, and she hits him with a board with nails on it, kills him.
But I think that was part of the
resurrection.
The prayer. Well, no, like she was praying for to God, and God answered her prayers with her friend saving her like that. Be. But with how the movie ends, like because.
Yeah, we're not really sure. Yeah,
she gets up after that, and it looks like she's trying to find her way out, like looking through his miniature, miniature structure of his house.
Yeah,
trying to figure out, and then it just cuts to her climbing out of a vent, escaping the house, and to what she said like earlier in the show, where she believes that. Earlier in the movie where she said
Barnes,
she wants to be a butterfly that comes back lands on someone's finger
that she loves,
yeah. And as she's like roaming through the snow in the middle of the woods, walking because she finds out the bikes are gone as well, and she's bleeding out, and she drops to her knees, and like she looks at her finger, and the butterfly's there, and then blinks, and it disappears. So it's like. So,
and then the final shot is her looking up, and she sees the sun.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, did she make it out, or did she die? We're not really sure. Yeah.
I think she made it out, but her religion was kind of tested. Yeah. And the butterfly was what she wanted to see, but in reality, it wasn't there.
Yeah, that could be it.
So while she escaped, maybe he won in the end.
Yeah. It's left up for interpretation for sure. Yeah. So I'm not really sure if she really survived or not.
Because I was thinking more of if it went like how Descent ended, the movie Descent. I don't know if you've seen that, Justin, but
which one is that?
The one where all the girls go cave exploring, and like
that's right.
She escapes, but it's just an imagination. She's still down there with them at the end. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. So I was like, I felt maybe that was like a sort of similar thing. But, I mean, the way what you described is like, no, I see that too. So, yeah, it could be either way.
Yeah, I mean...
I'd like to hope got out of there.
I hope so too, but it seems like she didn't. Yeah, or maybe she did and just died right after.
Well, because she's got 4 miles to
Yeah,
go. Unless
exactly.
someone drives by, if she, I mean,
it looked like
the road.
Yeah, it looked like a woods that she was in. So
I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I think that she maybe got out, but she didn't survive. It seems.
Yeah.
You know, like she bled out.
Yeah.
Well, if she did get out, she'd have her phone. She'd be able to call an Uber. Because the only reason they couldn't use their
the
phone
mental
was
house.
because of the
Oh,
walls.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we left that part out. Like as soon as they walk in, he says, "I hope you don't mind the metal in the walls
Yeah.
and roof," which means there's no signal in the house. So
Yeah.
I thought this film was going to be more of, which is what the trailer hinted at, was like this guy traps these girls in this complex
like
maze.
an escape room.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool.
That's exactly,
I'd like to see that. But no, it was more of a psychological kind of torture game that he wanted. And he kind of wanted to test their faith and show them that what they believe in isn't true. So that seemed like that was his ultimate aim. I don't know why he chose these girls specifically. Maybe because they're so much more devout than other people.
I think he just tries to, like, it felt like he put the feel, like he's never met them before.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, oh, he sees maybe a flyer for the religion. It's like, oh, I'd like somebody to come by and so I could talk to me about it and stuff like that. So whoever he gets, you know, I'm wondering what happens if it's like 2 missionary guys. Like, does he still test them or?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Or if he only does women because they're less.
He probably does more. Yeah. Well, they say, even the girls say, like, we may not be much of a physical threat, but we can stand up to them, mentally.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah. Although I think those 2 girls probably fuck Hugh Grant up if they actually attacked him. So
yeah. No.
He's definitely he's an older man now. So.
But I mean, if depending on if he knows his house, he can.
That's true. He can get away.
Get the better. Advantage.
But it didn't seem like there was a ton of traps or anything. So
no.
Which is what I thought was going to be.
Yeah. No. Well, there was like when they go down to that first basement part, and they're feeling the wall. There's this one part of the wall with like 2 keyholes, and I was like, "Oh, do they have to search for a key and then?" Get
that's right. I forgot about that.
So I was like, I thought that was going to turn into something, but
it's never brought up again. Yeah, no, there's a lot in this film that kind of isn't brought up again.
No, but I regardless, I still had a great time.
Yeah,
Hugh Grant, like,
great villain.
Another performance. If they don't nominate, like, it's ridiculous because the amount of dialogue he had to memorize and work with, I was like, Jesus Christ. And to keep it entertaining too,
right?
I was just like, man, no, that's like one of top tier Hugh Grant roles.
No, he's a great villain, dude.
Yeah,
great
did seem one that was kind of designed for Hugh Grant.
That's true.
It would be hard to see another person pulling off the same way.
Oh, I'd see only a few actors could. It would be totally different. But I could see if the actor, in their own right, is entertaining enough, they can deliver it.
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning Arnold Schwarzenegger now talking to people about religion.
It's all about iterations. There's Monopoly. There's Landlord. That'd be great. Wow. I was thinking, even though he's so old, much older now, but like if you had Al Pacino from his Devil's Advocate day,
that'd been good.
And then he would have been like, "You can't touch, but you can taste."
Yeah, that's good.
And he's laughing his fucking ass.
Yeah.
So I mean that it's all about like the charisma of the act. Like I think Leo could have done it too.
Leo could have done it. Yeah. Leo definitely could have done it. Yeah.
Christoph Waltz. I think it still would have been just Christoph Waltz.
It would have been. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
No offense to Christoph.
No.
Waltz.
It's just
he's entertaining.
It would have just been in like when you mention
Glorious Bastards or
right when you mention Christoph Waltz, it's like Hugh Grant's like this older distinguished gentleman.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's how he would have taken it.
Yeah. So. I feel like he's able to communicate a lighter tone
within
it too, which could be difficult.
No, Hugh Grant brings a lot of levity to the character as well. So even when it does get a little intense with the questions, he's like, "Oh, you've heard of this song, right?"
Yeah.
And then he's singing the creep. I'm a creep.
I didn't know that about that. So there's a part in the film where he plays a song that Creep apparently was that 9 Inch Nails was sued over, which I didn't know about.
Oh no, it was
was it not 9 Inch Nails?
No, it was the Hollies was the old 70s song.
Right, the Hollies. I didn't know
Creep
was it's 9 Inch Nails, right?
No, Creep is Radiohead.
I'm sorry, Radiohead. Radiohead got sued over by the Hollies. I didn't know about that song.
No, I didn't know about it either.
I looked it up afterward and I was like, because he plays the Hollies song and says Radiohead Creep ripped this off and they were sued over it, and I was like, I don't hear the similarities.
No, neither did I. I was
like, how is that possible?
Maybe like in the musical rhythm of it.
Yeah, and apparently some of the words too. I think
maybe
is what they said.
Because then he also went on to Lana Del Rey.
Right.
Got in trouble a little bit over, or didn't get in trouble over using it from Radiohead.
Yeah, which I also didn't know about.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He talks about Jar Jar Binks.
Oh yeah,
talks about Jar Jar Binks. Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah,
that was so funny. That was great.
But yeah, Heretic. So you guys recommend it?
Yes.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah, I think I gave it like a slightly above average score. I think it's good for. It's more difficult for a dialogue heavy film to remain engaging, and it does that. I do think the first half is a little more interesting than the second half of the film.
Yeah.
But it is still a fun watch, and definitely a different film for these were the writer-directing duo for 65, so it's a very different movie too.
Very different movie, yeah.
Which was interesting to see. But it's a fun watch. I thought it would maybe break out a bit more. I think it still is doing decently, but just not huge.
The budget was a little over $10 million, and it's brought back 25. So let's say that their marketing budget is probably 15, so they're probably breaking even around now, maybe. So it was. I think it was definitely marketed more. It was marketed differently than what we saw on screen.
Yeah, it looked like escaping a room.
It was like a murderous escape room, whereas this was more of a dialogue-heavy discussion on religion and faith.
Yeah.
So, I still enjoyed it. I was a little confused by it when I was watching, like, okay, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be, but, I think that Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who played the two girls, and Hugh Grant really carried it very well, so I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it being kind of, I don't want to say it was deceptively marketed because I don't think that's their intention, but it was definitely not what I thought it was going to be.
I mean, a lot of trailers nowadays are like that. Like, Transformers 1 didn't really, it looked more of like a kid flick, and then like watching it, I was like, oh, this is actually really
yeah.
good.
See, that's why I'm watching, because it was I thought it was a kid flick.
I think they try to shape the trailer to make it appeal to as much people
yeah, of course, yeah.
So they're like, they don't want the trailer to just be Hugh Grant criticizing religion, because that might turn off some
right, exactly.
And then like with the Transformers case, they were probably thinking, oh, if we market it to the kids, then we'll get all the families.
Right. And I'm sure there was a lot of people who went into the theater and saw this and were not happy because they're criticizing religion so much. I'm sure there was a lot. People was like, I thought these two girls were going to be escaping a room that's trying to kill them, with all these different gears and gadgets and traps, and here they are talking about religion and how it's all just marketed, So I'm sure there's a lot of people that didn't appreciate that. I liked it. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I recommend it.
I mean, they do criticize like some of his points and protagonists.
No, absolutely.
It's a debate.
So it isn't like
there is a lively debate about
for religious people out
there.
Right,
exactly. And again, it turned. At first, you think that the more naive, missionary Sister Paxton is more into the religion than Sister Barnes, but it's actually the other way around. It's like the one that came up in the religion seems like it has less faith than the one that was kind of adopted into it. So I thought that was a good kind of flip. Heretic 2, check it out. Heretic 2. Heretic, check it out.
That's the
sequel. That's the sequel. We're definitely having a sequel on this.
But this time, the maze is bigger.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mr. Reed's in the walls. He's like, welcome to my heretic house.
No, go ahead.
Do you think that's going to be at Hollywood Horror Nights, the room that he had there?
That'd be interesting.
Have the old lady come back and eat pie?
The pie just sitting there. Yeah. That'd be interesting. Yeah. And then you also saw Here, Justin, which is the latest Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, I saw it. It came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I just saw it.
I actually want to see it, but I just haven't a chance to. Yeah.
And it's Robert Zemeckis. Film.
So now is the film, because this again the trailers, is the film mostly just one shot of the living room?
So the camera stays in its place.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire time.
Wow.
That said, I didn't think it took away from its narrative. It's definitely a interesting technique to kind of stay in one position pretty much.
Yeah.
How it tries to mix things up is this takes place in like multiple time periods.
Right.
You even see the dinosaurs.
I was about to say, because it looks like there's like cave people at one point and shit. Yeah.
So you're basically like observing this land, which eventually becomes a home.
Right.
But it's told in a non-linear fashion. It has it's some. I don't know if it fully works, but how it transitions between them is like there'll be like rectangles. There'll be like a few rectangles that appear, and you'll like see into the other time period, and then it'll fully transition over.
Interesting.
So when rectangles start appearing, then you're transitioning.
Transition, yeah.
And there are a couple moments where it doesn't transition, but you just see glimpses of the others at a similar, not the same time, but just concurrently.
Sure.
I don't feel like the film completely works though, because there are like, I'd have to count them, but it's probably like 6 or so time periods.
Okay.
And it's not just one family. There are multiple, and they don't all really connect. There is some loose connection, but for the most part, they mostly don't have relation with one another. I guess the character itself is the land, but I would have liked it if there was more of a connection, because sometimes the main one I would say is the one with Tom Hanks and Robin Wright.
Right. I thought that's what it was mostly centered on. That family.
Yeah, mostly. They're like maybe like 40% of the movie. But it just makes the ones that share like 5% kind of feel a little pointless when you're like jumping to them, because you're like, okay, this doesn't really impact the story. I guess it's interesting to see what these people are doing, but and because of that too, you can't really spend too much time with the characters to like completely connect with them. That said, there are still some like genuine moments and emotional moments and surprises. But I think it would have been better suited if it was just maybe the parents' lives, and then like Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and maybe have been a more focused. It could have still been multiple time periods, but had it been all connected, I think it would have been better, and you would have been able to develop the characters more. The film does use like a new technology where it's like a real. I think they described it as it's like a real time CG thing. So basically, if I'm misremembering, but Robert Zemeckis likes to do like a new technological thing, and I think like basically the models are all completed, so they're filming it, and the models are completed, and it just follows the actors' movements.
Right, because they obviously de-aged Tom Hanks and Robin Wright.
Yeah, there's de-aging, and then there's also aging. I think Tom Hanks's character looks mostly good. Robin Wright is maybe a little more uncanny, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that aspect was decent, though. When it's used on one of the more minor characters, I'm like, oh, I don't think they spent as much time on this person, so it looks a little off.
And the camera's static the entire time, right? It's mostly focused on the living room of this house, right?
Yeah, but like I said, it is throughout different time periods, so mostly in the 20th century, but
so like, do they jump between different so like you see like Tom Hanks and Robin Wright in old age, and all of a sudden it goes to them being young? Does it do that?
Yeah, it's non-linear.
I see.
But though for the most part, the individual stories are linear, for the most part, there is a little bit of jumping around.
Okay.
So when you go back to one of the stories, for the most part, it's progressing where it began. But you could jump from Tom Hanks to there's one about a guy and his wife inventing the lazy boy chair
in that living room.
In the same house.
Okay.
There's another where it's Native Americans and there isn't a house. It's just an open field.
That's how it does? Oh, it just could jump. Oh, it just goes back and forth in time.
So it's non-linear.
Oh,
so
shit.
you jump between the different times. And I think there is an interesting aspect in it.
Uh-huh.
I just, like I said before, I think I don't know. Like I gave it an average rating. I could maybe go a little higher. But I don't think it's able to fully develop a story that isn't like on a more surface level. When I watched the trailer, I'm like, oh, this is like the kind of movie you'd like see your family at Thanksgiving,
right?
And it's going to be the one that your grandparents or your parents are talking about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw this movie.
Yeah.
But I did take my parents to see this one. And they didn't like it as much.
Okay.
So I'm not it, and it's probably because the film itself isn't the most up. It's a little more sad than you'd expect.
I would imagine so.
It's not a.
Well, it's about aging and
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a scene in the trailer where Tom Hanks, the couple, Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, walk in. And the house is empty. It looks like they're about to sell it, and they say, "This is our home." Is that where it ends, basically, or is that, or is that the end of that conclusion of their story?
That's it. It's about the end of the film.
Okay.
There is there is a story after their story that's also going on.
Oh wow!
Because they do leave the house.
Yeah.
Well. I hate spoiling stuff.
No, it's okay. I'm not gonna.
But at that moment, they returned the house, and they're like, "Oh, look at this home.
Yeah,
happy memories."
Right. Yeah, that's in the trailer.
And I wish that part wasn't in the trailer because I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be where it ends," and
it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't end.
Oh no,
that's where it ends.
It kind of ends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I figured. Yeah. Well, that's not. Okay. I mean, I'm interested in seeing. I don't care about spoilers myself. I don't.
I think he's more inclined for the audience listening to the podcast.
It's been out for a while. We spoil everything here. So.
But it's an interesting concept, and I didn't think it was a bad watch, but I do think it could have been maybe something greater. But the whole like hook of it being all in one space and stuff, it does lead to some interest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of reminded of another. I think it's A24 as well. Is this A24?
Ghost Story?
No.
Ghost.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Sony.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking Ghost Story.
I think.
Which with what's his
Casey
name?
Affleck.
Casey. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was watching this because that's also a film that takes place in a house that kind of transcends time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With his character. That's a fucking depressing ass film. Fuck that film. So, but that's what I pictured when I saw this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, that's interesting,
Yeah.
So
I think that I mean, people. If anything, the biggest draw to that movie is the reuniting of Robin Wright and Tom Hanks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
with Zemeckis.
Yeah, the same two lead actors, cinematographer, director, maybe some more of Forrest Gump. So it's like a Forrest Gump reunion.
They're missing Haley Joel Osment.
That's right. Is Haley Joel Osment in it?
I don't think so. There are some other actors.
Do they order bubblegum shrimp in the movie?
That'd be awesome.
No shrimp was seen in the film.
Wow.
Do they? Is any of the actors like the actor who played Bubba or Gary Sinise appear in the film?
I don't. Not that I remember.
I think
lame.
Isn't the guy who played Bubba? Didn't he pass away?
No, he's still alive.
Or he got in some kind of trouble, didn't he?
No,
I think
I
thought he
so.
did.
No.
Yeah, there are some other actors like Paul Bettany is the father of Tom Hanks.
Really?
In the film.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
And he plays a main role, and the wife is I forget her name, but she's like the woman in Yellowstone, that series.
I heard people were criticizing Paul Bettany's performance, though. Was that a little weak, or?
I thought it was decent. Of course, he's doing an American accent, so he's not.
I
He's not speaking.
Yeah, well, of course.
Like
he's not speaking the Kings.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, do you recommend it?
If you're,
I mean, I want to see it just because, like you said, the draw to me is Tom Hanks and Robin Wright back. So that's my draw.
yeah,
But I mean, I'm not in a rush to see it.
yeah.
But I probably will.
If the concept sounds interesting to you,
Yeah.
I think it's worth a watch. But just don't go into it thinking it's going to be like a feel good movie, like a Forrest Gump or something.
Oh,
like
well,
that.
shit, dude. I'm already depressed enough.
There are some happy moments.
Yeah.
Like some characters, like the lazy boy couple,
Uh-huh.
their like complete story is happy.
Okay.
They have no sad moments. But for the others, it's like
Maybe that's why the random family's in there, for levity of like the depressing stuff
There you go,
surrounding.
see?
the dinosaurs are only a brief scene though, so
Do we see the comment?
We don't go back to them.
Do they look up and go,
There's a comic con.
"Oh shit"?
That'd be depressing.
Tom Hanks voices a T-Rex.
Uh,
Oh no! There's no crying in dinosaurs.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to probably check it out. If not, I'll probably check it out when it comes on streaming. Just because I want to see Tom Hanks and Robin Wright back.
So pretty much you're saying you'd rather watch it here than there.
Probably. But I do want to support. This is an interesting concept.
No laugh at that joke.
yeah, and it's
Yes,
original.
I got it. I got it.
I think the audience is laughing right now, right?
I don't think they are.
It's an original idea too that I like. So
Yeah, I like the original concept, so I'd like to go with theaters to support it.
So if you were to have a camera set in your house and it take place over
The
like
bathroom.
hundreds of years,
That'd be pretty. Oh, hundreds of
where,
years.
where would you want it to be filmed?
I mean, I guess right here. Like right where our podcast setup is on be on the living room right here.
There you
Yeah,
go.
this. I don't know. Actually, so this land is very close to the San Fernando Mission, which was one of the California missions. So at one point, this was probably used as like farming.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be pretty sad to see a bunch of like captive Native Americans like farming on this land.
Yeah.
So yeah, or being rounded up by Spanish soldiers and being forced into Catholicism. So
I mean,
yeah, that'd probably be
that part would probably edit out of the movie. And be like, happy time.
Happy time. It's just my Halloween party back there. Yay! And that's it. Like, yeah. So, all right.
And the transition would be from the actual Native Americans to you dressed in head garb as a Native American for Halloween.
I have never worn that costume.
I know you haven't, but that would be the movie.
And I never.
That
the movie?
That would be
now
the movie.
everyone's gonna think.
God,
so.
that'd be terrible. Yeah, they're even think I'm dressed as Native American. For
Fine,
Halloween.
I'll be
not.
dressed as that better.
Although my mom is my grandparents and my mom are Native Mexicans. So
well, in Hollywood,
I do
they
have
don't
the
care
native-
what you are, as we've seen for cast. Like, what's that guy who's played like an Arab, a Native American?
I was just thinking about
Mexican?
yeah.
Like he's been, so it doesn't matter really.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as if they're not sure, you can be whatever that is. They're like, yeah. Yeah.
So here, I'm checking it out. Chad, are you gonna check it out?
Probably not. But I mean, like if I've seen everything else in the theater, yeah, I'll check it out.
All right. But you have seen Juror Number 2.
I have, yes.
All right. So tell us about this. This is the latest Clint Eastwood movie.
Yes.
And I've heard not great things about it.
Why?
I mean, what? It has like 90
That's what I heard.
something on Rotten
I
Tomatoes.
don't know. I haven't watched it.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
You did?
Oh, you did? Okay, there you go. So, I mean, I haven't watched it. I don't worry about spoilers for me. But I've heard not great things about it. That's
it's the thing is, with Clint Eastwood's name, you expect this bigger film, and with the previous films that he's been making, they've been smaller as they went on and stuff. So with this one, I don't know. For the plot, I was expecting something a little bit more, I don't know, grandiose I don't know. It just seems so simple.
I got in what I was expecting.
Yeah?
I feel like it's one of those films that would have done a lot of money in the 90s. It's like a small mid-budget film with an interesting hook.
True.
It doesn't have to go like, I don't know.
No, it doesn't have to be like high octane or anything. But like, I didn't feel any of the suspense. I didn't feel like worried for him too much because it seemed like there was a grasp on the situation or there wasn't too much danger. I mean, like, I don't know. I just didn't feel it present or hanging over him, because anytime he went home, it wasn't too, went home to his wife. It wasn't too, upsetting. He just kind of pretended things weren't happening. And then, like, in the courtroom, he wasn't physically... I didn't notice any stress, real turmoil to him until that moment where he broke down close to the end. When
I felt he was able to convey like those hidden emotions pretty well, and I don't think I don't think it was banking on, is he gonna get put in jail instead or whatever. I kind of knew how it was gonna go. I think it was more about ethically what is right.
Do? Yeah,
this is a guy who did an accident. This is a guy who, and the guy who's on trial or whatever, he doesn't seem like that great of a person.
Yeah,
but he's innocent. So, but someone has to be punished.
Well, what's the plot of the film?
The hook is basically this guy who he has a history with alcohol, but he did quit. He's driving back late at night, and then he hits something. He gets out of the car. He doesn't see anything or anyone. It's really dark and rainy outside, and then he gets back in the car and goes. About a year later, he gets called to jury duty, and then he realizes that he might have hit someone, because the case revolves around a woman and her boyfriend who didn't seem fully getting along, even though they might have loved each other. And basically, the woman storms off from the bar after a fight, and she stormed off and walked on that same road that he hit something on, and she was found dead. And then the boyfriend is being charged for her murder. Yeah. And all this while he's a juror on the trial, thinking, this might have been me, and it looks like it was probably me.
So is there damage to his car when he gets back to his...
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
His car was damaged, and it was fixed.
That's all, like, revealed after the fact, because it starts with him going to jury duty, and then when he's hearing the case, he's like, wait, I was there.
It flashes back to the incident multiple times.
Yeah. And so there's no way that there can be a misunderstanding. He realizes it's the night that he hit something.
There is room that he maybe couldn't have. Maybe he didn't do it, but it looks like it was
because it was on that same road, the same time of year.
Yeah. And he believes that the guy on trial is innocent.
I see.
He doesn't seem like a great person.
Yeah, but there's he's got a neck tattoo, and it's brought up that he used to be a part of a gang of some sort, like stealing drugs. And he's like, I stepped away from that life, and like there's at least one juror on the jury who's like, I help kids at a center, and this kind of guy deals dope to these kids. So he's like, no, I'm not going to believe him regardless. Like,
so there's already a juror that's kind of made up their mind.
I see. Yeah, and like pretty much, Nicholas Hoult, he's trying to convince the jury to become a hung jury, or completely decide that he's innocent.
Yeah, he wants it to be decided innocent, so then the guy
they can't be
doesn't
again.
Get punished for this thing that he believes that guy didn't do.
Yeah,
and he's obviously afraid of speaking up because he doesn't want to be implicated, right?
Yeah, because his wife is about to give birth to their newborn baby.
Yeah, so he has a family coming along, but there's people who are kind of refusing to change their vote to not guilty.
Yeah.
And if it becomes undecided, then there's fear of it going to another
the hung jury
that he doesn't have any influence on, and then them convicting him.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of moral questions there. I think Nicholas Hoult and I'm blanking on the wife's name, both do a great job in the film. She's been in a lot of movies.
She was.
Vampire Academy comes to mind, but I don't think that's the best example.
Oh yeah, Toni Collette's the prosecutor,
and Toni Collette does a good job too.
Cool.
She's someone who's running for like a higher position. There's an election going on.
Zoe Deutch is the wife.
And she's put her whole career on putting like men
for domestic abuse behind bars.
And then she begins to realize, it might not be him. And but she has this election going on, so she's like, oh, do I really stand for justice if I let this happen?
So the victims injuries match like blunt force? I mean, do they say she was definitely hit by a car?
Well, at first it's not brought to that, but like there's one person on the jury, she's got some medical experience where she notices like her clavicles were like shattered, so she kind of randomly brings up a car could have possibly hit.
Oh, but they don't tell the juror what she died of? That's just blunt force?
She fell off basically like a cliff and like onto like a boulder.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's like her. So her body's so damaged.
It's hard to.
Well, no, they do state that she was hit with. They couldn't find the weapon because she was hit with something a blunt force object that sent her over the edge.
Oh, but her body's so damaged that it's difficult to tell exactly. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he could have used a bat, or it could have been a car.
I see. Okay.
But I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It's not perfect. It doesn't bring too much new to like the courtroom drama outside of its unique hook. For the most part, it's pretty good. But there is like one revelation which happens in a not a realistic way.
Yeah.
Where Toni Collette's character, she discovers his wife. She tries to because one character we didn't talk about, J.K. Simmons. He's like a past cop, and he did a lot of detective work, and that kind of leads her to maybe researching this case because the cops might have had tunnel vision when trying to convict someone. And she goes to all the damaged cars around that time, and one of the houses
thinned it out to like 15 or something like that.
One of the houses she visits is his wife, and they have pictures together in the house. She doesn't see them, and
she's looking down a lot at her clipboard,
and she doesn't. I guess she doesn't notice maybe the last name or something, but she finds out that he's married to her by going on her phone onto Google and then searching his wife's name, husband. And then pictures of them together appear on the Google search.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
So
you should just go like a social media profile.
Yeah. I'm like, you could come on, Clint. Yeah. Just have her click on her Facebook profile. That would have made much more sense.
He's probably like, fuck that. What's Facebook?
No, I mean, if you do search for someone on Google and like people search for their wife or husband, sometimes if it's the data is there from Facebook, it'll pop up. Not the first thing, but as you scroll down, it might be like a second.
But for the most part, it's
AI. It's AI.
For the most part, it's pretty good. I thought the writing was pretty good, and this is a first time feature film for this writer too.
Oh, cool.
So this definitely for a first film.
All right,
definitely
good.
Pretty
good
to me.
Do you guys recommend it?
Yeah, I mean it's a decent movie. It's just like I think I could have watched it at home. It wasn't a big screen movie for me. I don't know. It just didn't seem.
Now at the end, do they finally reveal what happened, or do you just left up in the air?
I mean, it's looking very likely. Like it's like 90-something% that it was him. Mm-hmm. We don't. There's technically a chance that it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to spoil the ending, but
I don't care.
But basically, the guy, the boyfriend, he's found guilty. And then like Toni Collette's character, she gets like a thank you note from like the girl's family saying thank you for putting him finding justice, and she gets her new promotion and just begins thinking about is this right?
Yeah.
And she does meet with him, and he basically tries to justify it indirectly. And then we later see him with his wife and newborn child together and happy. And then there's a knock at the door, and he goes to open the door, and it's Toni Collette's character.
Uh-oh.
And that's how the film ends.
Uh-oh.
So it's implied that she's going back to
Reopening
try
the
to make
case.
it right.
Yeah.
And
I personally would have ended it a little bit before that scene where because the friends I saw it with, they agree that there's a scene when he is with the baby and police sirens go by and he just lives in fear for the rest of his life. Like there's a chance that she could, it's like, oh, I am going to chase this down. So kind of like that is torture for him, but he does get to, spend time as a baby, but he also feels that guilt of like, every time you think you did something wrong and then you hear like the chance of you being in trouble or getting arrested.
I kind of liked how the ending was, and it is a bit of a redemption arc for Toni Collette's character, not becoming like a corrupt politician.
Right.
Yeah. It's a smaller film, but I think it's important to support all films, even if they aren't big.
Agreed.
And I'd
Agreed.
personally recommend it.
It was supposed to go to streaming initially.
Yeah, that's another thing. Warner Brothers hasn't been nice to this film. They gave it a release in theaters, which is nice, but they've just kept it as a limited release. I think it's been playing in like 40-something theaters in the country.
Wow.
So a lot of places you just can't see it.
Yeah.
So it's limited numbers, and the limited numbers look decent, but we don't really know how it would have actually done it had they gave it a wide release. And
Clint Eastwood
marketing.
and Zaslav are going to have a fight. Like the
Clint Eastwood will probably win.
And Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's the budget is about $35 million. It's only made about not even $10 million, so about $9.6 million. That's pretty bad.
But you can't do those high numbers in just 40-something.
Yeah,
theaters.
Exactly. That's pretty terrible.
But
they're doing that.
I would like one more movie from Clint Eastwood, and it's just him as Dirty Harry again, but he's got like a son or something like that. Just because he's probably
played
in a wheelchair.
Scott.
He's like, roll me over to the window.
He can't pick up the gun.
He's like, he's like, son, I'm getting you.
Just blasting and shoots him back in his wheelchair.
Or someone killed Dirty Harry, and now it's.
He's what, 93 now?
Dirty
94.
94. He's still directing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man.
Dirty Harry. Things get hairy.
Yeah, it's not a perfect film, but I'd give it above average score.
All right, good.
I give it a 7.
All right, good.
Out of 10?
7? Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, and then Chad, you also watched Conclave. Did you watch it as well, Justin?
I saw it at the Telluride Film Festival.
I also
this fancy.
Excuse me. He's also wearing a Telluride Film Festival
we got a real King George over here.
Yeah, King George over here. You gonna write a Bible soon?
Yeah, write a big old book of Mormon or something.
Book of Mormon. Yeah.
That was actually my first film at the festival.
Excuse me. Conclave.
So I saw it August.
It is about the Pope, I guess, being succeeded.
Well, it's the process of the
Choosing?
Vatican when the Pope retires or dies, and they have to find a new one. And Ray Fiennes is the I forget.
It's like a cardinal, isn't he?
Yes, but he's also I forget what the term they use.
It's been a couple months, but he's like one of the higher up.
Yeah, he manages
people.
the procedure.
He's a capo.
Yeah. He manages the procedure of finding the new pope, and so pretty much for the conclave, the conclave is the process of
choosing a
new pope. So all these cardinals are invited to the Vatican to make the decision, but they're invited from different countries like Italy, Spain, everywhere, and
they all vote, right?
And they all vote, and as things are proceeding, there seems to be some ill intent from some of the cardinals that are up for candidacy, and it's revealed through kind of a almost like a mystery thriller, would you say? Like,
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't expect it from like this kind of film, but it's kind of like a political thriller, but with popes.
Right. That's the atmosphere I got from the trailer.
Yeah. And
it's kind of like this backroom kind of political wheeling and dealing, right?
Yeah, and Ray Fiennes is trying to keep it very clean, while other people are like, you got to pick a side here, and like there's Tedesco, which is this very Italian pope, he's very funny because he's just like smoking from a vape. He's like, oh, and he's all about he's almost like you could kind of say he's like a Trump type in the sense of like he wants to make Rome or the papacy great again, where it's like it's got to be Italian, come back to the Italians and stuff. And Stanley Tucci, he's more of the liberal. He's like, I stand for this and for gay rights and all.
Or he's like the progressive.
Yeah,
voice.
very, very, very progressive. And like he's like, I don't want you guys to like lie for me. Like if you're gonna promote me as a candidate, this is what I believe in, and this is what the church will move.
Oh, so those are like the two top candidates?
Well, there are multiple.
Yeah, there are multiple.
The reason why I think like a political thriller is that they try to take like bad things from their past that expose them.
Yeah.
So like one guy, he had like sexual relations with a young
with woman. A 19-year-old girl when he was 30.
So one of the people bring the woman back to kind of expose him.
Oh wow!
And it ruins his lead.
Yeah,
so it's stuff like that.
Because there's multiple voting sessions they do, and you have to get a certain amount of votes. Like I forget how many you need to. It's almost like an electorate, if you get so many votes over the other person. So if you don't reach that number, you will vote again and vote again. So I think it happens a total of like 6-7 times.
It happens a bunch of times, and then each time the leader, they're trying to throw them off with past history and stuff.
Like,
and Ray Fiennes is getting a lot of attention and support, even though he's saying don't vote for me, but he's slowly getting more support from people because of his leadership.
Yeah, and he's very in between. He's not really picking. I mean, he is voting for Stanley Tucci, but he's not really picking a side of just. He's trying to keep it all on the level of and. Oh my God, I'm blanking on.
John Lithgow.
Yes, John Lithgow's character. There's like a bit because you're curious of what there's before the conclave starts. There's a guy that was with the Pope that knows the truth about Lithgow's character, and that he was dismissed by the Pope, like to be fired, pretty much.
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery behind the Pope's death, and who was meeting with him and what he was doing around that time. Yeah,
so you think it's something much darker. It's not as dark, but it's still like just illegal in the sense and dirty. So but he is one of the other candidates, John Lithgow's character, and then also a random like an unseen cardinal that's never been heard of or mentioned before shows up, and he's from Kabul in Afghanistan.
Interesting.
But he's originally from Mexico, I think, or
it's been a couple. I don't.
I'm trying to pull it, but
I think was he sent by the original Pope, if I remember correctly?
Yes, he was invited by the original Pope, and
to join him.
To join them, and it's revealed that he was being cared for by him, sort of in a sense, because there was a procedure that he needed to go to Geneva for, and the Pope was paying for it with his own like account, and you're not sure what that was exactly, because he's like, I'm not sick, I was never sick, or he keeps saying that to Ray Fiennes' character, is like, I never got a procedure done and stuff. And then as things progress, there's bombings going on, like a terrorist attack outside the Vatican, and like Ray Fiennes is like, don't tell any of the cardinals about it, because it might influence their votes, because budding religions, if it is a Muslim or Islamic attack or something like that. And as they're doing another vote, another bomb goes off and like rubble like collapses from the building,
from the ceiling.
Yeah, and some people are hurt. Ray Fiennes is like knocked down, and it's revealed to all of them that it was a terrorist attack on the city, and hundreds were killed. And that's when like Tedesco, the Italian Pope, was like, we need to, why do we have to tolerate them, but they don't tolerate our religion, and they're killing our people and stuff like that. And then the random cardinal that was invited from Kabul, he stands up and gives this like motivational, like, what do you know of war?
Right.
And so it's kind of like easy to guess that it's like, after this speech, they're all going to vote for this guy. So
right.
And Ray Fiennes kind of supports him.
Yeah, he's been supporting him too.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie, he's the new guy. He's been like, "Oh, I'm voting for you," and he's like, "No, don't vote for me.
Yeah.
Don't vote for me."
It's like, why not? You're the only one I'd vote for, And as that's going on, then you see, you kind of hear muffled, like as they're reading the last vote out, muffled names, and then it's revealed that they all kind of come into the shot, and like he's sitting there, and he's like, "Do you accept the nomination of being the new pope? And then what would you like to be called by?" And he picks the name Innocence, because you could pick like John, and stuff like that. So he picks that, and then
this is Ralph Fiennes' character.
No, the new guy.
The new
guy after his speech, he gets a lot of support from.
The guy from Kabul or whatever.
Yeah, okay. And he gets nominated and wins, and he accepts it. And there's an assistant to Ray Fiennes that he's been like researching stuff for him when he needs it, and he didn't think it was going to turn out this way, and so he comes to tell Ray Fiennes like, "Well, now that this happened, I got to show you what the surgery actually was."
Did he say no to seeing it? Right?
Yeah, he initially said, "I don't want to see it." Yeah. Oh, go.
Or I don't know if you want me.
No, go. Yeah, go.
And basically, after the guy wins, he like talks with Ray Fiennes, and he's like, "Oh, good job," or whatever.
Yeah.
And I forget if he asks what the papers were about, or if he brings it up, but it's basically revealed that he had like a gender surgery.
It was like a hysterectomy he was supposed to get, but he didn't get it
because he was intersex.
Yeah, he was like a hermaphrodite.
And
like he had both.
Given the position, Ray Fiennes is kind of in shock.
He's just like,
he's already been elected pope.
Yeah. And it's revealed that he was intersex and not, fully male.
Right, because there can only be a male that becomes a pope.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't remember him getting mad. He was just in shock.
He was in shock, and he's like,
okay,
we'll deal with it as it comes along, type of thing.
I mean, whatever, it doesn't really matter.
No, and I mean, like, I think regardless, he doesn't like not look the part. So it's just like,
I mean, because that's the Catholic religion's rule, is that going to be full, I guess, traditional male according to them. That could be pope, which is, come on.
No,
it's just like priests only priests can be male. It's, silly. It's things that have to be changed.
But that's
how it ends. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I forget if anything happens after that scene. Really.
I think that's about it. It ends on that reveal, and then like,
and then I mean, I don't know if it's the whole time Ray Fiennes, from the beginning he's revealed that he tried to resign from his position, but the Pope denied him that, and he's like, "I want you to stay here to manage the farm," and like he was supposed to do this one to help him in the end become the Pope. And, so I was like, "Oh, okay," and he helps this little turtle get back to their little turtle garden, and that's the last.
Well, there are some turtles.
There's some turtles that get loose.
It didn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's Raphael, Donatello.
It's Italy.
But yeah, Ray Fiennes does a great job in the role, and I think he is He's been talked about as a contender for Best Actor.
Everyone in the movie is very good.
Yeah, I'm glad again to see. I'm always happy to see movies like this. I do want to go check it out. I'm happy to see movies that are not about superheroes, fucking and CGI shit show. Yeah. I'm glad they're still making films like this where it's just like political intrigue, dialogue heavy, and relying on the actors' abilities to do what they have to do.
And the guy who played who became the Pope at the end, the actor Carlos Diaz, he's from Vancouver, and I guess like there was a search for more of a unknown actor. Like he's not as like I've never seen him in a film before, so I guess they wanted to pull someone very new.
Makes sense
and like he did a fantastic job.
Oh,
I was
awesome.
like, even though it was a small part, but it was still poignant and stuff. So
all right. And speaking of movies, Justin, you had something to say about Red 1 in IMAX?
Oh.
Yeah.
Are we pulling up the actual
Go ahead,
quotes?
man. Yeah, we can talk about this. You haven't heard about this, right?
No,
Chad?
I have not heard about this.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Really?
Because I wanted a film buff like Justin to talk about it and get his opinion on it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I haven't seen the actual movie itself.
Not a lot of people have, apparently.
I'll probably see it on Tuesday though. But it is sometimes funny seeing this is a movie about there's a buff J.K. Simmons Santa, and he gets captured and they're trying to save Christmas. So seeing the actors and stuff trying to promote the film is interesting. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to look.
No, it's okay. It was something that The Rock said.
So The Rock was making promo comments during a promo, or was this just a
it was for I believe on the IMAX.
So this was in the theater?
No,
IMAX?
No, he was giving an interview about Red 1. And
okay, I have it now. So he's doing an interview. He says, with Red 1, our intention was to make a movie that you can enjoy on the biggest screen possible. Legitimately, the biggest screens possible are IMAX. I was midway through shooting Red 1, and I had the opportunity to see Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
I watched it in the IMAX theater where Christopher Nolan watches and screens his movies. Him and Emma, his wife. I even asked to let me sit where Chris sits. They said Chris sits here. I was watching Oppenheimer. It was amazing, but I was thinking, holy shit, Red 1 on this screen and with this technology could be game over. I remembered texting the director a picture of my bare chest and a picture of the screen, and we realized how cool IMAX would be.
Now, he said this, I don't think it was completely tongue-in-cheek. I think he actually, felt this in
the tone of his voice. It wasn't like...
No, he was
giving... He was just talking like The Rock does.
Yeah, just, giving an interview. He's like, I think this would...
He's not, smiling as he says it?
It seemed like he was serious, is what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know how much he believes it. It seems like he believed it pretty well, So
I think he's just trying to sell it, but it was just funny reading that of this Christmas movie and comparing it to Oppenheimer and Red 1.
It wanted to sit exactly where...
It's not an IMAX. There's not an expanded aspect ratio. No. It's playing in IMAX, but it's very different from that movie. So, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't comment what else on it. But
I don't think it's going to leave a lasting legacy in terms of filmmaking. I don't, I'm sure it's a fun film, but it's your typical standard, CGI show.
You said one of the earlier podcast episodes you thought the arm wrestling or something was funny.
I thought the slap fight was that moment in the trailer always makes me chuckle a bit.
Yeah, that looks. I think from what I've seen, everybody that's the part where everybody enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, I don't mind a movie when it gets very weird like that. So it'll be interesting. But I hear a lot of them play the straight man through the movie, and that's not great to have when you're everyone's the straight character, so it's just okay, But I'm still intrigued to check it out because I have my, because I know some people are like tired of the whole weird Santa where he's buff or where he's like not the good, jolly fat guy, And I like Violent Night. I like the Fat Man or whatever it's called with Mel Gibson. And what's that other one? Oh my God, I'm blanking on it.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
No, I mean that's that's.
Oh, are you?
You talking about Violent Night?
Maybe.
Talking about Violent Night.
Wait, no, I said Violent Night already, but I was like that Fat Man, and then there's another one that was similar to Fat Man. I just blanking on the name of it, but I enjoyed that as well. So I'll have to figure that one out because I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
But no, I mean, it's fun when they change up the Santa lore sometimes if it works. But yeah, no, I get it could be tiresome. It's like, oh, future, futuristic North Pole type of thing. That could get kind of lame after a while, or it's like, oh, this is the same.
Right.
Yeah. I think they're making a Violent Night too, I think.
They sure are.
Right?
They sure are. I very much enjoyed that film.
I'm curious how much more of a budget they're going to give that.
Probably a higher budget, yeah. I really enjoyed that film, so I'm glad they're making another one. It's a great movie.
You're talking about Red One, right?
No. I haven't seen that yet.
I mean, I really hope because like of the South Park where they go slay one down.
Yeah.
I really hope they do Red One down or something because that's a missed opportunity there if they don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not against seeing the film, but I just I'm whatever. If I don't catch it in theaters, I think I'm okay with that too. I'll eventually watch it. Maybe I'll watch it in theaters. We'll see. Yeah, it looked fun. I mean, the trailer looked fun to me when I first saw it, but I know it's going to be another, your typical Rock movie. Just
Yeah. Well, I'm more excited for Rock's other movie with the Safdie brothers, the one Safdie brother, where he's a boxer.
Yeah, I'm blanking on the name of it, but yeah, it's supposed to be a serious role, so like a potential
good
pushing his action.
Yeah.
Acting.
Speaking of boxing, we recently had the Tyson fight.
Yeah.
We don't talk a lot of sports on this podcast, but that was definitely. What did you think of it, Chad? Because it came out on Netflix, so we all watched it just because.
Yeah, it was free, so why not?
Yeah.
Well, those who pay for Netflix.
Well, those who pay for Netflix.
This guy.
Do you pay for Netflix?
No.
Do your parents pay for Netflix?
No.
You guys don't have Netflix at
all? I don't use Netflix.
Oh,
if there's a Netflix movie, I'll
going
see it
to
in
the
Netflix
Egyptian theater.
Okay, well, it makes sense.
Fair
makes
enough.
sense. I mean, everybody's saying it was rigged, it was staged. I think it was just two people just trying to not hurt each other specifically, and trying to get a payday, whatever.
No,
it wasn't. But the fight was obviously the night was centered around that fight, but the two previous ones were pretty fucking brutal.
So, they were great fights. But the thing was with Tyson's fight, I was like, he was obviously injured.
Yeah, his legs. Yeah,
because he had a knee brace on one of his knees. I was like, he's obviously having trouble standing. Like, why even do this fight right now? Like, let him heal. But I guess they wanted to get that payday done before the commotion about it dies down again.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I didn't know he was injured from anything. So seeing that I was just like, this is just sad.
Yeah, it was. You could tell they're both pulling their punches to an extent. I mean, I wasn't like during the fight. I was like, okay, whatever. By about the third, fourth round, I was like, it is what it is now. Yeah. But I was already well entertained by the women's fight and the fight before that one. And I was like, okay, this was worth watching just because of those two. So
and I'm a fan of boxing here and there, and the women's fight with Serrano and Taylor. Mm-hmm. Like, I hope they get a third go at it.
That shit was insane.
Because that was really good. And I agree with most people out there who do believe Serrano should have gotten that win.
Me too. Yeah.
But so it just sucks. But maybe if Netflix keeps doing these live ones, we'll get to see more of that.
I just hope that they get their resolution right and get their servers working properly.
See, the resolution wasn't bad for me. It was more it would just buffer, freeze and then buffer, and then I'd have to pause and then go again.
That's what I had to keep going out of the fight
also,
and then going back in.
The sound was a big.
Yeah, sound was off,
and then go down and up, and
then you hear a lot of people like their mics. They were hot micing.
Oh yeah,
it was weird. It's
like what the fuck?
Yeah,
I was like, what?
So and then at one point they were talking about Lennox Lewis and
Evander Holyfield.
And Evander Holyfield's
his earpiece wasn't working, so he couldn't hear.
Yeah, I don't think his microphones were. It was weird. It was all off.
At first, I thought it was a joke because his ear got bit off, or part of his ear got bit off. I thought he was just playing into it, but I was like, oh no, he can't hear because it's yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of technical issues with it, but you know, I mean, again, it was like the main fight. I was like, okay, whatever. I was happy for the previous two fights that I was like, okay, I don't feel 100%.
I enjoyed that first fight, even though it was one-sided, but it was fun to just see how entertaining the one guy was.
Right. Oh, the first one.
Yeah.
The fighter from India.
Yeah, from Goyat.
Yeah, who was Goyat. Yeah, who was kind of clowning around in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Well, first time we've really talked sports on this.
Maybe the last.
Maybe the last. Yeah. So, do you follow boxing, Justin?
I do not follow boxing. I've watched a couple UFC events at AMC.
UFC are good too. AMC.
They play
really?
them.
Oh no shit.
But most of the time it's not included with A-list. But there were a couple times, like the last McGregor fight and another one. Sometimes they'll mess up and they'll list it as included, and then you could redeem it, and then they'll fix it later, but you could still get in. So I'm waiting for that to happen again.
Yeah.
And then
now they're on to you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, take us out, Chad.
All right, Justin, you want to promote anything? Your letterbox?
Yeah, man, you got a letterbox?
You're a film reviewer, you know?
I don't have much to promote. It's just Justin_time, I believe is my username. I think I'm at 199 unique titles for this year in theaters.
Oh, wow.
So
holy shit.
the next one will be my 200th.
Which one's that going to be?
I think I'm going to do an early screening of Companion tomorrow. And that's a movie that comes out in late January. I have an extra SVP if any of you would like to join, but seems interesting.
All right.
I'm going to have to, on my holiday break, catch up to your 200 reviews because I only have the one right now for Garfield. And don't worry, the rest are coming. All the movies I've seen, I'm still going to get those reviews up.
That's the greatest movie ever made. So.
Yeah, no, you logged in Bad Boys 4, and then you logged in Garfield, and you gave that one your review.
Yeah.
So there's nothing under Bad Boys 4?
It's just right.
You just
I don't have time to type this out right now. So they're coming. Don't you worry.
But, I mean, what can top Garfield movie? Come on. What can top that?
Come on. A lot, because I gave it a 1 or something, I think.
I think it was a 1.
Did you write a review for it?
Yeah, a paragraph.
Oh, okay, good.
Because I was very adamant about it not being a Garfield movie.
All right. And then you got some voiceover work that you want to plug?
Yeah, I've done a few gigs for Mashed on YouTube.
Nice.
And recently, it's been a lot of Donkey Kong experience, and I play Donkey Kong as a Joe Rogan type, and those have been pretty fun to do, and people have been liking those. So
they're great, man. You're doing a great job with them.
Thank
you.
And
they generally make me laugh too.
Yeah,
so.
well, I hope so. I mean, that's why I like doing it, to entertain.
Awesome. So check out Chad on Mashed. He's doing a great job. He's killing with that voiceover work. So,
thank you.
Absolutely.
And Stan, you want to plug any of your stuff?
Not right now. I'm still working on LAX Files, trying to get a couple more interviews for that. That's my LA based podcast. And then hopefully soon I'll be done with the audiobook that our friend of the podcast, Matt Zunick, worked on. So
I'm excited to hear it.
He recorded it for me. So
which book was that one again?
This one is it's called The Armies That Remain. It's a post Civil War serial killer book. So a novel I wrote a couple years ago. Been trying to sell it. Publishers trying to get a literary agent. Fuck those assholes. So that's been kind of hard. And so I eventually decided I'm just going to record it as an audiobook, edit it, and then put it on YouTube. So hopefully so I'm trying to get, but it's a long process because there's hours of audio that have to go through. But Matt did an incredible job. So shout out to Matt Zunick.
Shout out Matt.
Yep, and he's doing a lot of good things himself too. Thanks us out, Chad.
Yep. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Enter the Nerdom, and thank you Coca-Cola Zero for possibly
delicious.
taking the chance.
Delicious. We're all holding our Coke Zero
I'm
cans
almost
up.
done.
Delicious. We're all holding our Coke Zero cans up, even though there's no video.
Yeah.
So.
But if you aren't already, like, subscribe, share our podcast, comment, and we will catch you next time.
Absolutely. And Justin, thank you so much for being on
Justin.
tonight. Thanks so much for being on tonight. He looked at us like, what the fuck? Yeah. And he's like, what? And welcome anytime. And hopefully Watson is back next time.
Yeah.
Record with us, but I'm sure this won't be the last time we have you on, Justin.
Yeah, maybe.
If he's not, maybe we'll bring you back, and then you tell us about Red One.
That's right. Yeah.
There you go. I'll send you a picture of my bare chest.
There
you
go.
We'll post it on.
Stand up. Stand next to the screen with Rock's chest on the screen, and then your chest right next to his chest, and then we
won't be able to tell the difference at all.
But if not, maybe I'll rejoin for the Oscars again.
There you go.
Definitely.
Definitely. Take us out, Chad.
Well, I mean, I did.
Oh,
already.
I thought you were gonna do another voice.
Okay. Third time's a charm.
No, forget it.
Now it's
the moment's passed.
Now
You fucked it up.
Fuck.